Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault. And you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy, and the dog was biting him.
He roughing him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
As the agent for Peyton Ansley John Milton, you are indicating to me that you're quite familiar with Peyton Ansley John Milton, and that's basically you. Is that correct?
I am the agent authorized to represent Peyton Ansley John Milton, as written in all capital letters.
All right, and you understand for my purposes, though that language doesn't make any sense. So
No, I do not.
I understand? Okay, well, I'm telling you that. And so I am, until you disabuse me of the motion, or the notion, I am inclined to believe that you are both the agent and the person. So. And it's in
I'm
all
not a
caps,
person,
by the
I am
way.
one of the people, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Good morning, happy Friday. Glad we made it all the way to the end of the work week. Need some colors for that. All right, there we go. The full rainbow effects. Good morning. I know I'm a little bit late. Sound effect, we don't normally use that one, but it's a goodie. Nothing in the order restrains you from talking to cats. Aren't you glad? We can all talk to cats today. Let's see, Mark's 2 is going to be 3, 2. Why is that not working? Oh, man.
I don't like podiums, Your
I
Honor.
don't like podiums either. Good morning to you. Big shout out to everybody who was here for the... still not working. Was here for the podcast. It was a ton of fun. And I've decided not to delete it. So there was no threat of me deleting it. It was a lot of fun. If you missed it, do try to catch it on the replay. It's a good one. So let's see. I need to update an IP address here to that one. Then save, and now I can yes, now it's working. Okay. Sweet. Love it when I know how to fix something. Good morning. We're going to be going to court here in just a minute, so we have to sort of hurry today. I'm a tiny bit late. Let's see. Busy the Gamer Mom says today's my son's 6th birthday. His name is Elijah. Awesome. We'll see if we can add Elijah to the birthday list. Chat is not on the screen. I will fix that right now. That's one of the things I was fixing. Chat is on screen now. Congratulations to Kim R. First in chat today. Kim, thank you very much. That is super awesome of you for being first in chat, because we punish the first person in chat and sentence them to internet ownership. So, Kim, that's you today, but I know you're a glutton for punishment. You've done this many times before. Almost what we'd call a habitual offender when it comes to this. So the internet is good hands. Have no fear. Hector's mom, welcome to the gallery, brand new member. Thank you. So you've got Angela Angelo as well. All right, Josh, we're ready. We're ready for the birthday song when you're ready with the names. So hopefully you're current and not behind a few minutes. There we go. Boom. Look at that. Ask, you shall receive. Cleo, Sally, Devin Tyson, another Sally. 2 Sallys? Pink, Elijah, and Angela. Pink? Like Pank? Okay, awesome. We're going to sing to all these wonderful people. It looks like a tongue twister because I've got 2 Sallys in there, which is a little confusing, but I think they're separate people. So we're all going to sing to them before court begins because we're getting close. So everyone join with me in celebrating these amazing birthdays by standing up, taking a deep breath, shoulders back, project your voice to the back of the room, blend your voice with your neighbor, warm up with me if you will. La 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 la. Pink is not quite red yet. Here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Cleo, Sally, Devin Tyson, Sally, Pink, Elijah, Angela Angelo. Happy birthday to you. I'm sorry, Elijah, Angela Angelo. It's Sort of got squeezed in there on the end, but happy birthday to Cleo, Sally, Devin, Tyson, Sally, Pink, Elijah, and Angelo. There are many wonderful days. Today is your special day. I realize there are a million places you could have celebrated, and a million people you could have celebrated with, but you chose to be here with us. The privilege, the pleasure, the honor, the joy is ours. Hopefully we can return some of that joy back to you, make your day a little more specialer. Begin by helping yourself to free pancakes at Village Inn, IHOP, McDonald's, Tammy Dunlap's house. Oh man, that's all I can think of. What's the first one again? Andy's Grill, Bob Evans, IHOP, Denny's.
You look good.
Man, my brain is like, I can't brain today. It has the dumb. Cracker Barrel, Bob Evans, Cracker Barrel, and all the other places. Yes, all the places you normally get pancakes. Free. Help yourself to a free stack today. If they give you any, Waffle House maybe, if they give you any gruff, give them my burner phone number. And never pay attention to the restaurants. Only Tammy makes the pancakes. That's the way it goes. All right, I need to get the counter up on the screen. Let's see where that is. It was terrible. Bob Evans makes mashed potatoes. I think the restaurant also, I mean, they've got the Bob Evans, like, in-store brand and the Bob Evans restaurant. I think the restaurant has pancakes. All right, we're going to have a big drum solo to finish the song here as we're about to, why is that open? Here we go. Finish the song and then we'll talk. Beautiful, beautiful. Happy birthday to all you wonderful birthday people. Thank you. Thank you. One and all. All right, I need to finish this. Somewhere I have a counter. I'm looking for it right now. It's not there. There we go. Found it. Found it. Just trying to get everything resized right so we'll have our Jim McIntyre counter, which was left at 8. There it is. Accept. Not sure why it's showing me an ad in the middle of the counter, but, you know, that'll work. All right, and zoom in a teensy bit, not that much. There we go. Center it right about there. And now we need our label, and we'll be good to go. Yes, it's definitely a Friday. Shout out to Weather Watch, who's traveling right now. Safe flight. Let's see. Media. Was there a plea deal offered in this case? That I don't know, and that is a great question. We'll have to do some research on that one or assign one of our mods to do it. There we go. There's the Jim McIntyre counter. All right, now we're ready. Judge, you can come in now. It is, after all, straight up 9 o'clock, which is when he was supposed to start. So, let's see. By show of hands, who has watched the podcast? I just need to know. Go ahead. It was last night, 8 p.m. on Eastern Time on this channel. Gelly May says, from everything I deep dive, no plea deal was offered on this one. Okay, so we got a few people. We got Red Pen with the mitt. A few hands there. Me. Greener says there was a podcast. Yeah, no. Now you're good, Greeners. Don't worry about it. Have you and Thomas still never met in person? This is still true. We have never met in person. We can be friends without having met. He's an amazing guy.
All right, Ms. Higgins, let's go ahead and bring our jury in, please.
Miss Higgins, bring the jury. Thank you for watching the podcast. If you didn't, it was a good one. It was a good one. A little throwback.
Bring the jury.
Crazy cat. Oh, no. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear crazy cat. Happy birthday to you. There we go. We fit it in. It was perfect timing while the jury was coming in. Pancakes and everything, crazy cat. All yours.
Happy birthday. You look good.
Yay, even Judge Fleischer weighed in on it. Thank you, Judge Fleischer. It's good to hear you. Wow.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. I appreciate, again, you being here on time. I want to make sure, again, that we did not have any problems or issues regarding the court's previous instructions concerning access to media accounts. Any problems, any issues?
Yeah, I was able to log right in, Judge.
Very
Thank
well.
you.
And we will proceed with the first witness.
Your Honor, the state calls Dr. Mondor to the stand, M-O-N-D-O-R.
M-O-N-D-O-R. Not Mordor, Mondor. Yesterday was a wild day in court. Hard to wrap our minds around how it got to where it was.
Good morning, sir. Please raise your right hand and face the clerk.
Do you swear and affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please have a seat, sir.
Thank you.
If you would, position yourself close enough to that microphone so we can all hear you well.
Okay, sounds good.
May I answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
What is he a doctor of? I'm curious.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you please state and spell your full name for the court reporter?
Sure, so I'm Dr. Edward Mondor, E-D-W-A-R-D, M-O-N-D-O-R.
And, Doctor, what do you do for a living?
So I'm an entomologist. I'm the sole proprietor of Fear Lab, LLC. That stands for Forensic Entomology Applied Research. And I'm also an associate professor of biology at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia.
Can you tell us what an entomologist is?
Sure. So an entomologist is one that studies insects. They study insect life cycles, behavior. They identify what different types of insects are for many different types of purposes: agricultural purposes, pest control, and in this case, medical legal issues.
Can you describe your education and experience related to entomology?
Sure. So I have a Bachelor's of Science degree from Brandon University in Brandon, Manitoba, Canada. I have a Master's in Zoology degree from the University of Alberta in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I have a PhD in biology from Simon Fraser University in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. I then did a postdoctoral appointment at the University of Calgary in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I split time with University of California, Davis in Davis, California. I then did a postdoctoral appointment at the University of Wisconsin in Madison, Wisconsin. I then got hired as a junior entomologist at the University of Hawaii in Kapaa, Hawaii. And since 2006, I was hired as an assistant professor at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia. I was then tenured and promoted to associate professor, and that is my current position today.
How long have you been in Georgia, then?
I've been in Georgia since 2006.
And you indicated that your proprietary business deals with forensic entomology and research. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Does your research include this geographical area, meaning the southeastern portion of Georgia?
It does.
Thank you. I'm assuming that's in the field of entomology?
Correct.
Are there required certifications or licenses required for practicing specifically in your field?
There are no required certifications or licenses to be an entomologist or a forensic entomologist.
We could all be bug
Is that
doctors.
why you do schooling and training?
Correct.
Okay. And how long have you been an entomologist and studying to become one?
I have been an entomologist now. My first research project, I've been conducting insect research projects now for 31 years. And I've been doing forensic entomology cases for 13 years.
Have you published any peer-reviewed articles, delivered scientific presentations, or taught university lectures in entomology and forensic entomology? I have. So at this current point, and I say that because a resume or a CV is always a living document. It changes week to week. At this current point, I have approximately 45 peer-reviewed journal articles, and approximately 7 of those are based around forensic entomology topics. For presentations that I've given to conferences, different audiences, both between myself and the students in my lab that I oversee, I have presented 170 different presentations. 57 of those are about forensic entomology topics. I also teach courses based on entomology. For example, at Georgia Southern University, I teach a non-majors entomology course called Insects and People. I also teach a majors course called Insect Ecology, where we deal with insects, identification, life cycles, behavior. And I also routinely teach a course to both biology undergraduates and graduates, cross-listed, called Forensic Biology. In that Forensic Biology, we have a whole unit on forensic entomology, which consists of both lecture and lab. Have you ever previously testified as an expert witness in forensic entomology in a court of law?
I have. So I've testified in Chatham County in a forensic entomology case there in 2013.
And in that case, were you qualified as an expert in the field of forensic entomology?
I was.
And did that include the analysis of the insects and the use of that in the court presentation?
Correct. So that was a civil case, and yes, I was confirmed as an entomologist.
Can you briefly explain what forensic entomology is as it is applied to the context of death investigations?
Sure. So forensic entomology is kind of a wide-ranging field. There's different areas or subspecialties of forensic entomology. They really break down into 3 different types. One is stored product pests. Those are insects that infest food supplies, whether it's rice, grits, flour, etc. The second is urban cases. Those are cases that involve places in cities, schools, hospitals, prisons. If you buy a house, it's got termites infested with it, you might call a forensic entomologist. This case here is what we call medico-legal. That involves insects that are infesting either living or deceased individuals.
And you indicated that you testified in a civil setting. Is that correct?
Correct.
So does your work cover both civil and criminal potentially in courtrooms?
It does. I have done both civil and criminal cases.
Okay. Do you work specifically for law enforcement or only in the capacity that you described?
I do not. I do not work for law enforcement.
At this time, Your Honor, the state would seek to introduce Dr. Mondor as an expert in the field of forensic entomology and the analysis of the substances, the insects, in relation to this case.
Any questions from the defense?
No questions and no objection.
All right, then he is so qualified as an expert in the field of forensic entomology. You may continue.
Now, can you tell the jury what specifically you were asked to do in connection with this case?
Sure. So for any forensic entomology case, the reason we like to use insects is because in many situations, you can't really use other things about the body to determine what we say colloquially, time of death. We don't really determine a time of death. What we do as forensic entomologists is we determine a time of colonization. That is, when do the insects first come to the body and lay their eggs on the body and develop to the stages that are then eventually found. So the reason we can use insects in these cases is really because of 2 main things. One is insects can't regulate their body temperature like we can. They're dependent on the external environment. So we use a fancy term in biology called poikilothermic. Growing up, we always used to refer to that as cold-blooded. right? They're cold-blooded, they can't regulate their body temperature, they're reliant on the external temperature. So we can use them in effect like a biological clock because their development is strictly dependent on the temperature of the environment in which they are raised. The second thing that really helps us out with forensic entomology is they have a skeleton on the outside of the body as opposed to ours, which is on the inside. As a result, like a crab, they have to crack the old one off and develop a new one, so they grow in very discrete steps. And every step is completely different from every other step, so they're much easier to identify. So in this case, what we did was we had insect evidence that was collected, and I analyzed the insect evidence to see approximately how long it would take for them to get to that stage that was found.
Okay, so if we can go back to December 5th of 2022, did you receive a telephone call in connection with this case?
I did.
And without telling us exactly what was said, did you speak with any members of law enforcement?
I did.
As a result of that conversation, did you give them any guidance with respect to collecting the specimen that you ultimately examined in this case?
I did.
And did that conversation discuss how, in fact, they were to do so?
Correct.
And was that in real time?
Correct.
When you were giving those instructions, ultimately, did you anticipate receiving a sample?
I did.
Did law enforcement tell you any particulars about the case other than that they were submitting a forensic insect sample to you?
They did not.
Okay. At some point, did you receive any photographs?
I did.
And did you have an opportunity to view those photographs?
I did.
Your Honor, I am not going to publish, but I'm just going to show the witness 1.1AA, which I am showing to counsel now. May I approach the witness?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize the segment of that photograph that is displayed in that photograph?
Yes.
Okay, you can just turn that down if that's okay. Was that one of the photographs or what you received?
I believe it was.
Okay, and can you tell the jury, when you received the photographs, did you ultimately receive also a, quote, live sample? Or not live, but processed sample, perhaps is a better phrasing.
I received a processed sample, so they were all dead at the time, correct.
Okay. Can you tell the jury exactly how that sample gets to that condition?
Sure. So when, no, I can't say when I talked with somebody. So when I received that sample, what you always do with insect samples, especially if you have insect larvae, which are maggots, what we call them, the first thing you should always do is you should put them in boiling water. The reason you put them in boiling water is so then they don't start curling up and they're difficult to measure, they're difficult to identify. It kills a lot of the bacteria on them. Once they're done in the boiling water, you then put them into alcohol, which preserves them, and as long as they're preserved, they will last almost indefinitely. So those are the samples that I received, were the ones that were in preservative inside a jar.
And were they in a condition that was sufficient for you to examine and analyze them?
Yes.
For lack of being graphic, you indicated that they would curl up potentially. What condition do they remain in if they are processed in boiling water and subsequently placed into alcohol?
They will be very nice and straight and long, and so if anybody wants to measure them, they can measure them, and they're much, much easier to identify as well.
And that process, does it do anything with respect to their life cycle?
It stops it. So as soon as you put them in the boiling water, it kills them almost instantly, and that stops, again, what we call that biological clock. So that is the point from which we start to work backwards to figure out that time of colonization, when the insects first come to lay the eggs on those remains.
And do you know the portion of human remains from which this was recovered?
Could you rephrase that?
Do you know where the maggots were recovered from that were provided to you by observing that photograph?
So the maggots that were recovered were collected from where the leg appeared to be separated from the rest of the body. In the photograph, you can see that there is extensive insect colonization, once again, insect larvae, what we call maggots, on that portion of the leg that is exposed.
Can you tell us what MPMI means?
Sure. So a minimum post-mortem interval estimate is what we really try to evaluate. A lot of people are under the misapprehension that we try to estimate a time of death. We don't. Really, medical doctors are ones that estimate what a time of death is. When we determine what our time of colonization is, so when those insects come and lay the egg on the body, that duration of time then, from that time of colonization to when they found the body, so what we always say, death to discovery, that's our minimum post-mortem interval estimate. So it's an interval, it's a length of time, and we always say minimum because we determine that the person has been deceased at least that long.
And in performing that analysis, would it be fair to say that that would have been when they would have been exposed to the actual insects to lay the eggs on the remains?
That's correct.
Now, when you received those photographs, tell the jury what you did with the photographs first.
So with the photographs, and I also believe what I did is I always look at the photographs, right? So the first thing you have to do is you have to look at the photographs, see if there's anything in that photograph that might not be in the sample, right? So once we get the sample, we always want to have the photographs so we can go back to the photographs and actually verify that there isn't some later stage observable in the photograph that wasn't collected at the scene.
So to be fair, I believe your testimony was that there were quite a bit of insect activity at that portion of, would it be fair to say, the thigh?
Correct.
Okay. And so would that demonstrate more than one maggot to look at visually with the naked eye for you to observe?
Absolutely.
And did you do that in the fashion you just described to determine if potentially there was a maggot at a different life cycle stage?
Correct.
So could they be growing at different rates?
Correct.
And did you ascertain and ensure that that information that you were looking at was accurate to what you observed?
Correct. So from the photograph that I have and the sample that I collected, I did not see any later stages in the sample as opposed to in the photograph.
Okay. And can you explain to the jury, when you received that, did that come also with the sample itself, the processed sample?
Sorry, could you restate that?
Did the photographs come to you separately, or did you get them all at the same time, if you know?
I believe I got them separately.
Okay. So you received the photographs and ultimately then received the sample?
Correct.
Okay. And when you received the sample, was the sample in a fashion that you could analyze it?
Correct.
Tell the jury what you did when you received the physical sample.
So when you receive the physical sample, the first thing you do is you have to identify what the insects are. You also have to know what the stage of the insect is. So the first process that we always do is we do what we call morphological identification. Fancy term, we put the insects under a microscope, and using a dichotomous key, we go through the different traits that the larvae have and identify them to species. We also wanted to be doubly sure that we knew what we had and it was the right species that we had keyed it out to, so we also did genetic analyses. And the genetic analyses did confirm what we found under the microscope.
When you say genetic analyses, would it be fair to say that's DNA?
It is, correct.
And in this case, that would be the maggot DNA?
Correct.
So you looked at them first under a microscope, and then subsequently you actually took the DNA from the specimen that you received?
Correct.
And in this case, did you determine what species of insect you had before you?
Yes.
What type was it?
So it was a common blowfly that we have in this area, which is in insect order Diptera, family Calliphoridae, and the name is Lucilia sorulaviridi. Very difficult name to pronounce, literally translates as blue-green.
So that's the blowfly that you were describing?
Correct.
And in this case, was that the only species?
That was the only species. Everything we identified morphologically and genetically came out to that one single species.
Is that always the case?
It is not.
And in this case, did that make it in any way easier for you or harder?
It was actually easier because then we only need to construct one thermal summation model.
Okay. So based on the fact that there was just one species, you were able to do your model based only on that life cycle?
Correct.
Okay. And what is the typical life cycle for and I will not try to pronounce that scientific name, for the blowfly that you found here?
Yeah, so the blowflies, so those ones are very, very common in this area. In fact, all throughout South Georgia, that's probably the most common blowfly that we have. In many experiments that we've done personally in our lab, that tends to be the dominant blowfly. We can also find it through all seasons of the year. That fly will come, of course, you have males and females. They're sexual, they mate. The female then will come to the body. She will lay her egg on that body. The egg then hatches and goes through different larval instars. So those are the maggots, right? So first stage, what we call first instar. It then molts, goes to the second instar. Molts goes to the third instar. Those are the big maggots. That's the last stage. After that, we get the pupal stage. That's like the cocoon of the butterfly. And then after the pupal stage, the adult fly comes out of that pupal stage.
Now, you've used the word molt when referencing the shifting from one phase to the other. Can you tell the jury what molting means?
Sure. So molting is basically cracking off that old exoskeleton and forming a new one underneath it. So they grow not gradually like we do, but very discrete steps and stages.
And can you actually see the difference of what they look like at each of those stages visually?
Correct, you can.
And can you then subsequently confirm that microscopically?
We do.
Did you in this case?
Yes, and that's how we actually identify or confirm the different ages, is microscopically.
Now, can you explain the scientific methodology that you utilized to arrive at your minimum post-mortem interval?
Sure. So there's really 4 different things that you need in order to determine what we call an MPMI, right? And we'll use that phrase for shorthand. You need to know the species of the insect. You need to know the age of the insect. So what instar is it? You need to know the temperature conditions of where that body was located. You then have to have somebody who has raised that particular species in the lab before to know how long it takes to get to those different stages at different temperatures. And then once you have those 4 things, you can build your thermal degree model to figure out what that time of colonization was, which of course leads to that MPMI estimate.
And in your analysis in this case, I believe you have already testified that you determined what type of insect it was.
Correct.
Did you then have the ability to make a determination as to the stage of life of these maggots that you received?
I did.
And what was that?
They were third instars, the oldest stage. So there was multiple stages. There were second instars and there were third instars. So they were all maggots in that maggot stage.
Okay. And so at that point, when you determined the species and the age of the insects, did you do anything with respect to obtaining air temperatures and the climate surrounding their recovery?
I did. So I went online and got air temperatures for the closest weather station that was close to where the remains were found. I went to an online site called MesoWest. It's done by the Department of Atmospheric Sciences at the University of Utah. They basically take National Weather Service data, which is part of NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. That is considered to be the best weather data that we have. I got the weather data from there and used that in my thermal summation model to figure out how long it would take the insects to develop to that stage.
And to be fair, you use the word estimate.
Correct.
Is forensic entomology able to give a precise moment of when an egg was laid on human remains?
And it is not. That's a lot of what we see on TV. You can't have an exact estimate because there's always variability associated with it. So every time we come up with a minimum postmortem interval, we always say that it's an estimate. It can, though, depending upon the situation, be pretty accurate, especially when there's no other methods that we can use to estimate what that postmortem interval is.
So would it be fair to say that when you provide an estimate, you give a range?
That's correct.
And is that range in hours, minutes, days? How does that work?
Because I do my thermal summation model in accumulated degree days, I tend to give my variation also in days.
Okay. And did you do that in this case as well?
I did.
Based on your analysis of the developmental stages of these insect species, what is your expert opinion regarding the minimum postmortem interval for the deceased?
Can I refer to my notes?
Actually, Your Honor, I may just approach first. I'm showing counsel 1.100. I'm going to hand you what is marked for that exhibit. and ask you if you recognize that.
Perfect. Yes, and in fact, this is the same report that I brought with me today.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're working off of one that remains in the courtroom.
Correct.
What is that document that's in your hand?
This is the estimation of the minimum postmortem interval collected from the human remains that I always produce after I actually do an actual case for law enforcement.
And did you generate that report that you're holding 1.100?
Yes.
Is that a true, accurate, and complete copy of the report that you prepared?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I'd seek to tender 1.100.
No objection, John. All right, it's admitted without objection.
Why do you do a report?
I do a report largely for situations like this when it may turn into something much larger than just wanting to know what the minimum postmortem interval is.
Okay.
For many of the cases that we do, it's families that might just seek closure knowing how long their deceased has been deceased. In other cases, it might turn into civil or criminal matters.
Okay. So in all of the cases that you handle, do you always testify?
I do not.
In fact, more often than not, do you testify or not?
More often than not, I do not.
Okay. Can you tell us in the course of your experience, approximately how many postmortem intervals you think you've estimated?
So at this point now, between cases that I've done reports for or just consulted on with other forensic entomologists, approximately 40 cases.
Okay. And did you have to follow those same procedures in every single step that you just described here?
For the ones that are generating reports, yes.
Okay. And now we had gotten to that question based on your analysis of the materials that you received in this case, both the photographs and the physical sample. What is your expert opinion regarding the minimum postmortem interval for the deceased?
So mathematically, when we calculate what that time of colonization is, it comes to November the 28th, 2022. Like I said, there's always a range associated with that, and the range is November 27th to 29th, 2022.
So your estimate includes the dates of November 27th, 28th, and 29th of 2022?
Correct.
Okay. So at that point, did you know when you generated that date from law enforcement exactly when her remains were recovered?
The only thing that I do at that point was when the leg with the insects on it was recovered.
So you didn't know that her torso had been recovered on December 2nd of 2022?
That's correct.
Did you know that her other leg was recovered on December 3rd of 2022?
I did not.
Did you know that her head was buried?
I did not.
Did you even know that it was found?
I don't think I did.
Okay. And did anybody show you any video surveillance footage of a motor vehicle coming to that vicinity on November 29th of 2022?
No.
You basically got it right without any information.
And the methods that you've described for your procedure here, are those the standard practices that are utilized by forensic entomologists across the country?
Yes, so determining species IDs or the identification of the species using a microscope, genetic analyses, that's standard procedure. Also, thermal summation models using accumulated degree days, using temperatures, is standard procedure for the field.
If I can have just a moment.
It's like, yes, both of us do it the same way. I don't know, how many forensic entomologists are there?
Good morning, Dr. Mondor.
Good morning.
My name is Doug Weinstein. I'm representing Mr. Kassotis in this case.
And my microphone's off.
I'd just like to ask you a few questions.
There we go.
In your report, Exhibit 1.100, I believe you have it in front of you, correct?
Correct.
You state that, let me see here, the average temperature of the environment that you found online was 15.7 degrees C during the 2 weeks prior to the discovery of the remains, correct?
Correct.
And you state that 22 degrees C is the closest insect rearing temperature available in the literature, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And Oh, and what's that difference in temperature in degrees C?
Could you not say Celsius?
That's a math question.
I'm sorry. If I said it was 6.3 degrees C, would that be about right?
I would agree to that.
Okay. And to turn that into American, that's about 11 degrees F, right?
That's possible.
Okay. So, are your calculations based on that literature that showed it at 22 degrees C?
Correct.
Okay. How would your estimate, or could your estimate be different because it was 15.7 degrees C instead of 22?
So what we always do when we do a forensic entomology estimate is we always use the closest temperature, the closest rearing temperature to what that field temperature was. In this case, for this particular species, the closest rearing temperature that had been done previously to this field temperature was 22 degrees Celsius.
But it wasn't 22 degrees C at the site, correct? At the site where the leg was found.
Correct.
It was 15.7 degrees C, correct?
Correct.
And you could not find literature showing 15.7 degrees C.
That's correct.
So it's possible that your estimate could be off because 15.7 versus 22?
There's always variability, correct.
Okay. In addition, you write, and if I'm reading this wrong, just let me know. This ADD, that's average degree days, correct?
Could you point me to a
Sure.
particular page?
In that same analysis section of your report on page, I believe it's labeled page 5 of 7.
Okay.
That same section,
Mm-hmm.
near the bottom of the page.
Okay.
You state this ADD value is based on a fly population from a mixed hardwood forest in Oakwood, Georgia.
Correct.
Okay. Do you know where Oakwood, Georgia is?
I do. It's in North Georgia.
Right. It's near the Falcons training camp, I believe. So it's in North Georgia. North Georgia and Oakwood, that's at a higher altitude than us here down on the coast, correct?
Correct.
It also says that it is from a mixed hardwood forest, correct?
Correct.
Do you know what the forest was like where the remains were found?
I do not.
If that forest were a pine forest or a planting of pine trees, that's different than a hardwood forest, correct?
It is.
Could the fact that the analysis that you had to reference was from a hardwood forest versus a pine forest, could that make a difference in colonization?
It would be unlikely.
What about the difference in altitude between Oakwood, Georgia and the coast?
You definitely get geographic differences between different fly populations in different species. Once again, what you always try to do is you always try to use the data from a population that's as close to you as possible. In this case, the literature from Oakwood, Georgia was the closest fly population possible that we could use.
Does colonization, am I using the right term with colonization?
Correct.
Okay. Does the colonization vary depending on whether the remains were in the sun or in the shade?
It can.
And when you use that colonization information that you were able to find from Oakwood, Georgia, do you know whether that was performed in Oakwood in the sun or the shade?
So to clarify, this experiment that was done, this was a fly population that was collected from Oakwood, Georgia. The rearing was actually done in the laboratory. And I know this because I'm actually an author on that paper.
Because I did it.
So but it does make a difference if it's sun or shade, correct?
It could.
Do you know whether the leg was found in the sun or the shade?
I don't.
So you didn't factor that into your analysis, correct?
That's correct.
And you may have referenced this earlier, so I apologize if I'm repeating what you've already testified. Can the colonization be delayed if the body was wrapped or in plastic or buried?
Correct.
And how might that affect the colonization?
So if you have a body that is wrapped or buried or somehow restricts access of the insects to that body, that could definitely delay the colonization. That is the main reason we always construct a minimum postmortem interval to say that the person has been deceased at least that long.
And again, your estimate is also based on the location where the remains were found. If the remains were moved then your estimate might be different. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
Any further questions?
Okay, and just to repeat what you've already, I think, have been clear on, but I want to make sure it's clear.
Okay.
Well, your minimum post-mortem interval, that is, again, that is an estimate to the best of your ability, correct?
That's correct.
That is not exact.
That's correct.
All right, thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
You gave a range, right, Doctor?
Correct.
Does that range account for some of the variability that counsel is asking you questions about?
It does, so it will account for things like certain weather conditions, if there's flies in the area, how close the flies were, anything that might restrict it. So it always is a range, right? As we say, we can't have an exact time, but yes, there's definitely a range.
And that 3-day period, is that what builds in that range?
It does, with assuming all of the variables that we have and the best information that we have at the time.
I have nothing further.
Anything else?
Briefly, does that range account for all of the differences that we discussed today? For example, the change in altitude, the different location of where the study is found, the temperature difference between the study and at the remains, the possibility of the remains being wrapped, the possibility of the remains being moved?
If they had been wrapped or moved, then it would not be in that variation.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Nothing further.
All right. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
I'm glad that one's over. Defense is huddling, saying, "Yeah, I think we did some good there."
Yes, ma'am.
Rapture moved. The moved part is what we're going to capitalize on. The end result, he basically said the 28th, 29th, right around that time. There was a 3-day period, I think 27, 28, 29, that he says was probably the minimum.
This guy calls Morgan Paddock.
How many of you wanted to actually see the bugs? Like on the Elmo, throw the bugs in a Ziploc bag, stick them on the Elmo. Let's see these maggots. No? Yeah, me neither. I don't know, red men's like me. A couple of you did, okay. I did not. I was not in that group. Barb, this is a 2 to 3 week case. This is the end of week 1. Could go faster because defense has not asked a ton of questions on cross-examination. A lot of times those estimates assume that there's like a formula they use for I'm going to have him on direct for 3 hours. I expect cross-examination for 1 hour. Yeah. It hasn't been like that.
If you would please, before you have a seat, if you would please raise your right hand and face the clerk over here.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you would please have a seat, and if you will position yourself where you're closer to that microphone, that'll help us hear you. Thank you.
Could you state your name, please?
Morgan Paddock.
Would you please spell your name for the court report?
MorganPaddock.
Ms. Paddock, where do you live?
In Savannah, Georgia.
Ordinarily, I don't ask witnesses for a precise address. In this case, the precise address is important. Where do you live?
1168th Street.
How long have you lived there?
About 5.5 years.
How are you employed?
I work at a church.
What's your job at the church?
I'm a local outreach director.
Now, what is that church?
Community Bible Church.
And what does your position require you to do?
I work with families in the community, working with kids after school programs, tutoring, mom's discipleship, and getting people in the church connected to local ministry partners that serve the community.
And how long have you done that?
5.5 years.
Are you involved with any nonprofit organizations in the area?
Yes, I work with lots of different nonprofits, from PAC, working with kids. All of our ministry partners are nonprofits that we work with the church. So everything from helping kids with food to mentoring kids in the community, numerous things.
Are you married?
I am.
Do you have children?
I have a stepson.
I'm going to show you a photograph. State's exhibit number 2.32. And ask if you're familiar with the person depicted in that photograph.
I am.
How do you know that person?
That's my friend Mindy. We met in youth group when I was in high school.
What's Mindy's last name?
Kassotis.
Does this photograph fairly and accurately depict Mindy when she was alive?
Yes, it does.
Well, I'll tender it this time. State's exhibit number 2.32. No objections.
Is it new?
Now, how long did you know Mindy?
I met Mindy at the end of 1996, beginning of 1997.
How did you meet?
We were in youth group together at a church in Covington, Louisiana. So we were in Bible studies, youth choir, youth trips, things like that.
You described her as a close friend?
She was a close friend.
Okay. When did your friendship begin, the close friendship between the two of you?
Well, in high school and youth group, we did everything together. On the weekends, we hung out. We were on the trips together. She was a year younger than me, so I graduated a year before her. And I would say we were close friends then, but we became closer after she moved to Savannah.
Where did you go to high school together?
I went to Mandeville High School, and she went to Fontainebleau High School, so we were rival high schools.
But same general area?
Yes.
What town was that?
Mandeville, Louisiana.
When did you get married?
I have been married twice. My first marriage was in 2007 in Louisiana.
And did Mindy attend that wedding?
She did come in for that wedding.
Are you familiar with the person to whom she later married?
Yes, I did meet him.
What's that person's name?
Nick Kassotis.
How many times did you meet that person?
I only actually met him one time because we were supposed to go to their wedding, and it was the same weekend as Hurricane Matthew hit Savannah, and so we were unable.
So you had planned to attend her wedding, but couldn't.
Mm-hmm.
When was that wedding?
That would have been in October. I think it was, oh gosh, when did Matthew hit? October of 2016.
Would you recognize Nick Kassotis if you saw him?
Yes, I would.
Do you see him in the courtroom?
I do.
Would you please point to that person?
It's the
and Your Honor, if you'll let the record reflect, she has identified the defendant.
It does.
Did Mindy and the defendant ever have occasion to visit you here in Savannah?
One time, they were visiting. They had family that lived in Hilton Head area, and so they were close to Savannah, and they popped in the summertime.
Now, you earlier described that your friendship became closer as the friendship developed over time. Mm-hmm. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Would the two of you talk about important personal matters in your lives?
All the time, yes.
And each consider the other as a good and close personal friend?
Yes, correct.
Would you share your deepest feelings with each other?
We would.
when Mindy was no longer in your immediate presence and you would have to communicate long distance, how would you typically communicate with her?
Well, there's two different times where we were in long distance with each other. So after I moved away from Savannah, when she moved there in college, we would text or call occasionally. After she got married, we would text or call, but then there became a point where we were only allowed to communicate on the Signal app.
What did Mindy share with you about why it was important to communicate that way?
Because it was important that our conversations not be intercepted or able to be read by anyone, because there were dangerous people that were after her and Nick, and it was a protection level to make sure that our conversations stayed private.
Did she tell you about the anticipation of receiving a large amount of money?
Yes, she said that Nick was involved in some sort of software development, and that when it sold, it was going to be for a large sum of money, and it was life-changing money, like money that she could not wait to do good with. But it was always, someday when this money comes, these are the things that I want to do.
Did she mention to you anything about a security team?
Yes, there was a security team that she always talked about. Nick talking to the security team, and the security team told Nick. She told me that they had to have video surveillance van outside down the street. Nick could never leave the house without a security detail with him. They had to have, there were often meetings with the security team to just talk about their safety and what the protocols were.
How did you learn about her death?
I learned about her death because a friend of mine had reached out to me in February of 23 and asked me if I had heard from Mindy, and it had been some time that I had heard from her, because she said that they might have to go dark for security reasons and that she would reach out to me when she was safe again. She called and asked me if I had heard from Mindy or heard anything of Mindy, because a mutual friend of hers had called and said that Nick had called him and said that Mindy had died. And I didn't understand, couldn't find anything about it. And then on May the 12th of 2023, my friend texted me and said, I have some sad news, and she sent me the GBI article identifying Mindy's body.
After learning about her death, what did you do? Did you reach out to the GBI?
I did, because as I was talking with Mindy through Signal app, there were a couple of times where I thought it was against my better judgment, but there were just some crazy things being said that I felt like I needed to screenshot just in case anything ever happened to her and Nick, that I would be able to give someone something. And so I had a few screenshots of conversations that I reached out to share.
After her death, did you determine where Mindy was living before her death?
Yes.
Where was that?
3 streets down from me.
Do you remember the street?
65th Street.
And that's how far away from where you lived?
0.8 miles from my front door.
Oh my goodness.
And during the entire time that she lived here in Savannah, did she ever contact you and let you know she was living here?
I didn't know she was here.
Is that unusual?
Yes. It would be unusual, except that, one, if she thought she was in danger, she would never put me in danger. Because I knew that she said that she had to go dark. I knew that she would reach out and trusted she would reach out when she felt safe. So I'm not surprised that she didn't reach out. It just tells me that it wasn't in a place that she felt like she could yet.
After learning of her death, did you drive by where she lived?
I did, but ironically, I drive by that house all the time anyway.
I'm showing you what's already been admitted into evidence, the State's Exhibit 2.27. Do you recognize this house?
I do.
What is this house?
It's 311 East 65th Street.
Where Mindy lived?
Mm-hmm.
I'm showing you now what's marked as State's Exhibit number 2.47. Do you recognize what that is?
That is the route between my house to where she was living.
And it shows where you live and shows where she lives?
Yes, sir.
Does it fairly and accurately depict the route between your house and her house?
Yes, exactly.
I move to admit State's Exhibit number 2.47.
Any objection?
No objection.
It's admitted.
That's all the questions that
Good morning, Ms. Paddock.
Good morning.
I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Nick Kassotis in this case. Mindy insisted to you that you use the Signal app to communicate with her, correct?
Correct.
And again, why did she say that you must communicate over Signal?
For security reasons.
So Mindy told you that their lives were in danger, correct?
Correct.
And she had to communicate over Signal in order to keep her safe, correct?
Correct.
Did Mindy ever lie to you?
Not to my knowledge.
Mindy told you that Nick Kassotis couldn't leave the house without security, correct?
Correct.
Mindy told you that she had meetings with Nick's security team?
Not that she had meetings. Nick was always the one that was meeting with people.
Okay.
Everything was Nick said, Nick said.
But Mindy told you that she was in genuine fear of her life and of Nick's life, correct?
Yes, she did.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you.
Anything else, counsel?
No.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
If he takes a stand, it's going to be wild, because I don't think he can tell the truth. He's making notes. Make sure to talk to the security team about this. He gets on the stand.
Please.
Your Honor, this time the state calls Samantha Cole Yesnick to the stand.
If Nick takes the stand and he gets asked a tough question, I'm going to have to check in with the security team and see if I can answer that. This guy is just... Maybe he's bought into the story himself. That's correct, Grace, for the broken mom. There was no evidence that she was pregnant. There have been a couple pieces of evidence we've heard about but not seen. The video of his car in the area was one of them. Had some tech issues, and they're like, it's okay, we'll just give it to the jury in the deliberation room. Like, wait, what about us? But I think what helped him get away with his lies is the fact that his wife believed them, and she helped, probably unknowingly, because she believed it, she helped perpetuate them. So they had two sources, like the parents had two sources telling them that it was true.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you would, please, raise your right hand and face the clerk, please.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please have a seat. And you see that microphone there?
Yes.
If you would try to sit close to that so
Yes.
we can hear you.
Ma'am, can you please tell the court reporter your full name and how you spell it?
Yes. My full name is Samantha Cole. Yes, Nick. Should I spell my first name too? Spell my first name Samantha. Last name is Kolesnik.
I'm going to ask you if you have any trouble at any time and you need to take a moment, just let us know, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Can you tell us, without giving us an exact address, where do you live?
I live in the state of Pennsylvania.
Okay. And can you tell us just a town? Or rather the area. What's the big city there?
Lancaster County, near Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay. And what do you do for work now?
I work full-time at a software company, a technology company.
Okay. And do you do anything on the side to earn money?
I do. I do various artistic endeavors. I write books. Sometimes I make independent films.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
Many years now. I mean, over 5 years.
Okay.
Yes.
Were you doing that back in 2022?
Y'all hear her?
Yes.
Okay.
Turn her up.
And does that writing of books and work that you described, does that give you an online presence?
Yes.
Would that be how you try to sell or distribute some of those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you published?
Yes.
How many books have you published?
I think 4, and then I've had short fiction published in many different books, many different anthologies.
You done any movies?
Yes, but nothing big, just little independent films.
Okay.
Yeah.
But your work has gained some traction?
Yes, I'd say a small following. Nothing. I'm not like a big known person or anything like that. No.
Okay. What type of genre do you write?
Mainly horror, fiction. Some people call it like dark fiction and horror. Those kinds of stories.
Okay. And can you tell the jury what is a pen name?
A pen name is, in a general sense, just a name somebody might use to write books that's not their real name, that's not their their legal name, on their ID.
Is that common in the author community?
Very common.
Okay. So when you were selling books, did you sell them online as well?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that capacity, did you have occasion to meet an individual that went by the name of Nick Stark?
Yes.
Can you tell the jury how you first became acquainted with Nick Stark?
In late September 2022, I had a public Twitter, it was then called Twitter, profile to where, as an author, to where I sometimes sold books, and I had sent a public tweet saying that I was selling signed books on my website, and Nick Stark, he had I think it was the username either Nick Morfox or KJ Stark at that time in Twitter. He messaged me to let me know that he had bought 4 of my books, like all 4 that were for sale. Yeah.
Okay. Is that the first time that you met him?
Well, I didn't even meet him at that time. It was the first time that, he was directly communicating to me online.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first communication, even if it wasn't a face-to-face meeting?
That's correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And you said there was a Twitter named KJ Stark.
Yeah, he had several different Twitter names, so I can't be positive which it was, but it was either Nick Moore Fox, which I believe was his pen name, or KJ Stark. I believe it would be one of those two.
Okay. And at that time that you first interacted with him, did you ultimately have the ability to recover those tweets and provide them to law enforcement? Okay. So they're here and available for you, is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Did you learn whether or not he was also writing?
He told me he was a writer. I don't know to like what extent. I don't think he had been published as of yet, or maybe he had a short story or two published. I think he was a short fiction writer primarily.
Do you know what kind of genre he wrote?
The same, to my knowledge, horror, dark fiction.
What's the pen name she
So
uses?
initially, you said you met him by way of digital message online in late September of 2022.
Yes.
Did that conversation continue after you first interacted with him on the purchase of your books?
Yes.
Tell the jury how that progressed in terms of the conversation.
Well, the messages were not a whole lot at first. At first, I really didn't even understand why he felt the need to message me, because a lot of people don't message when they buy books, they just buy it. But I said thank you for buying my books, something to that effect, and then he just he messaged again, and he just kept messaging, and then we just started engaging in small talk off and on through October, but not a whole lot of messages at that time. Very light conversation, I would say, in October of 2022. And all on Twitter direct messages.
So those conversations were all online, nothing in person?
Correct.
Okay. Did that time period between September and October of 22 ever graduate to phone calls?
Not in October, to my knowledge. I think the first time we had a phone call was in November of 2022.
Okay. So at some point it progressed from text messages to the actual phone?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And when you spoke with him over the phone, do you remember, you said that was in November, you believe?
Yes, okay. November 2022.
Did the relationship change from light banter at any point to something more romantic?
I think so, yeah. It became, flirtatious and more, I'd say, emotionally charged.
Okay.
Yeah.
And would that be part of what ultimately yielded phone calls?
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Did there come a time when you met him in person for the first time?
I met him in person for the first time December 16th, 2022.
Okay. And where did you meet him?
In Pennsylvania.
So he came to you?
That's correct.
Okay. At that point, did you know why he was in Pennsylvania?
Well, he said that he was taking a long drive for a work trip to Missouri, and then he said that he could drive from Missouri from his work trip. He said he was working in legal compliance to Pennsylvania, and he also said that he would end up in Delaware because he was working on a big merger and acquisition, and they were having that in Delaware, which would be, Delaware is very close to Pennsylvania. It's a short drive away.
Did you know where he lived at the time in December of 2022?
He said he was living in Georgia.
Okay, so it was your understanding he was going from Georgia to Missouri, and then from Missouri down to Delaware, and he'd stop by you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say stop by because it's quite out of the way. He said yes, he was driving from Georgia to Missouri because he had something for work that he had to do. And he was driving because he had his dog with him, named Rusty, just a big dog, and I'm sorry, I don't know the breed. And then he said that he would love to meet me and he would drive, since he was already on the road, from Missouri to Pennsylvania. I did push back and say that's a big drive. I don't know, that's a lot of expectation. It feels like when somebody drives that long of a distance, and he paraphrasing here, he basically said, I'm going to, drive out to see you, and I want to meet you, and, if you don't like me, I'll just drive back. He made it very, he persisted and, made it very like low pressure from my point of view.
Okay. Now at that point, would it be fair to say you had met him at the end of September? How long, I say met, online?
Talked online. Mm-hmm.
How long had it been since you started talking to him to when he came to your place? December 16th, approximately.
I'm not sure I understand. That was the time frame. So he started talking to me online, Twitter direct messages in September, and then the first time that I ever met him in person was December 16th.
Okay, so about 2 months roughly?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, what was your marital status?
I was separated. I'd already filed for divorce and moving from my marital home to my own home at that time. And I moved in November of 2022.
Okay. And in that time, before you met Mr. Stark, were you concerned that you had met him online?
Yes. Yes, I was. And I had, even asked him, about that and said that I was concerned because I was newly single and, living basically alone. And, he had provided some documentation to me, I think, to, kind of comfort me and assure me that, he was who he said he was. He sent selfies. He sent some other documents as well, just to verify his identity, and it did comfort me that I thought he was who he said he was.
Okay. Did you ask for his driver's license?
Yes, I did.
Did he send it?
Yes.
Did you ask for something from his employment?
I did at one point, but I did not ask for that then. I asked for that later.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you ultimately receive both the driver's license and his employment verification, for lack of a better way to phrase that?
Yes, I received a copy of his driver's license, which said Nicholas Stark on it, like a photocopy. I received an employment verification letter from the company he said he was working at. Should I say the other things that I received
Let's
to
just
verify?
stop there for a moment.
Okay.
I'm going to approach, Your Honor, if that's okay, and show the witness what I have physically marked as 1.84 and 1.86. I'm going to show them on the teleprompter after, but you will have a copy here. You'll be able to also see them.
Not a teleprompter.
Should I look at them?
Yes,
or?
please do.
Okay.
Do you recognize 1.84, the first document I handed you?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
This would be the employment verification letter from the company he said he was working at.
Okay. And is that a exact duplicate of the document that you received? Just a copy?
I believe so, yes.
So the security
At this
company.
time, I'd seek to tender 1.84.
Any objection? No objection.
It's not from Microsoft.
And 1.86, the next document in your hand, do you recognize that?
Yes.
What do you recognize that to be?
This is a photocopy of his driver's license, which says Nicholas Killian Stark on it.
Okay. And what state is that from?
Georgia.
And do you recognize that to be the document that he sent you of his driver's license?
Yes.
At this time, I'd seek to tender 1.86.
He legally changed his name to Stark?
It is admitted.
You can hold those right there.
Oh, okay.
At this time, Your Honor, I'd like to publish 1.84.
You may.
Weather watch. You're never getting home.
Does that reference a company name of APIS? APIS?
Yes.
And if I scroll to the bottom here, does it indicate also when Mr. Stark began working at APIS Limited?
Yes.
The security
And when
company.
was that?
It says February 12th, 2018.
Does it also indicate to you an email address at the very bottom where you could contact if there were questions?
Yes.
And what was the @ portion of that?
apislimited.com.
I'm now going to turn your attention to the driver's license. If we can probably turn it off in between. Thank you. I'm now publishing 1.86. One moment. There you go.
Can we see this one?
Is that the copy of the Georgia driver's license you received?
Yes.
And that was a name of Nicholas Killian Stark on there, correct?
Yes.
Looks legit.
Does it say the expiration date on that top right side?
Yes, it says June 3rd, 2030.
And was that a photograph of Mr. Stark?
Yes.
As you knew him?
Yep, yes.
Thank you.
Black and white on a driver's license.
Although I will say I don't think he had the beard when I met him, so that just that difference.
Okay.
Yep.
So he sent you those two documents at varying times, and you believe that he was Nick Stark?
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. Did he use any other names? I know you said he used that pen name. Was that Nick Moorfox?
Yeah, I believe he had the pen name Nick Moorfox that he published short fiction under.
Okay.
That was like his author pen name.
Do you know if he had changed his name in any other way?
No.
Those are the only two names that you knew.
That's correct. I mean, he had the other username KJ Stark, but he told me his he had two middle, like Killian James was like his full, yeah. So I just assumed that was the KJ Stark.
Okay.
But no, he never told me he had another last name different than Stark.
Did you ever know the name Nicholas James Kassotis?
No.
Now, you indicated that at the time you were in the process of a divorce. You'd already been separated. Did you know Mr. Stark's marital status?
I believed I had. He told me that he was a widower and that he had lost his wife and his unborn child about 2 years prior, and that they had both died in a hospital.
And he told you that when?
He told me that he first referenced that his wife had passed away in October of 2022 in Twitter direct messages.
He told you that in October of 2022?
Yes, on Twitter in the direct messages.
Did you subsequently determine that that was not correct? Meaning, did you find out from law enforcement that that was not the case?
Oh, I found out from law enforcement that was not the case on the date of his arrest, and that was not until May 2023.
So when you first met KJ Stark via tweet, that was communicated to you through a tweet?
So the tweets are like public, but we were communicating through the Twitter direct messages or like private messages, like similar to like if you were talking just like a text message, but just on Twitter.
Okay. I'm going to try and make this a little bit easier. Your Honor, I have 1.93, 1.94, 1.95, sequentially through 1.99. So 1.93 through 1.99.
Weather Watch and Lee OG.
Yes, sir.
30 months each. Thank you both. Weather Watch, my podcast partner. Should have watched this last night. Sandy, 5 gifted memberships. Thank you. And Bruce, member for 4 months. Thank you, Bruce. Hope all's well with you. Thank you as well. Just posted a link to what I think may be the defendant's bio on Amazon, his author bio. Interesting things in there. He likes stories where the dog survives. Also says he's got a forthcoming video shot by Sony 3000, and then links to a website which no longer exists. So, sounds like the same guy.
Now, I'm actually going to put these up on the screen, if I may, Your Honor, so I'll seek to tender them first.
Jackie, thank you. 5 months of support. Renee, member for 3 months. Thank you for all you do and don't do. Thanks, Renee.
I'm going to hand you exhibits 1.93 through 1.99. Can you just take a look at them and tell us if you recognize them?
Taking her time on these. See the little nod when she... There it is. There's another nod.
I do.
Are those a fair and accurate depiction of what you provided to law enforcement in conjunction with this case?
Yes. I believe I provided more than this too, but yes, these I did provide. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are those just exact duplicates of what you've turned over, just not in color?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time I seek to introduce 1.93 through 1.99.
She had full color receipts.
All right, they're all admitted. It's a total of 7 exhibits, but they are admitted without objection.
I'm now going to open and publish exhibit 1.93.
Gracefully
Slide
broken,
one.
Mom. Thank you. 7 months plus. Camilla, we'll be following Donna Adelson.
Would it be fair to say that that's what you have in front of you is 1.93?
Next,
Yes.
after this trial.
I'm going to scroll in here.
Some catch up.
Can you see
KJ
the name
Stark
of the
tweets.
tweet that was sent from to you?
Yes, it's KJ Stark.
Okay. And is that what you were referring to earlier when you referenced late September first speaking with Mr. Stark?
The account's
That's
still
correct.
out there.
Okay. And would it be fair to say that here you have sort of an announcement on the public page about you selling the books?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. And as a result, is that why, or when you received rather, the response from Mr. Stark concerning the purchase of the books that you were selling?
Yeah, so what he's done here is he took like my public tweet and he kind of like quote tweeted in a message and then wrote his message beneath it. Yep.
Would that be the message that he sent to you?
Yes.
And when was that sent?
September 24th, 2022.
And in that post that he sent to you, did he offer to communicate with you?
Yes, he did.
And if you look at the top of this post, was he aware that you were going through a divorce at that time?
Yes.
Okay. And as a result, did you respond?
Yes, I did.
And you indicated earlier that that's not common. Is that correct?
It does happen sometimes. Sometimes people want to let you know they're buying your books, but it is not the majority of cases. No, I wouldn't say it's common.
Okay. So I'm now going to go to number 7. That would be 1.94. Just so we're clear, the gray writing and the pink writing that is displayed on the screen, who is the gray writing?
The gray writing is Nick.
And the pink?
That's me.
Okay. And just if we could look specifically at this first paragraph.
Yes.
Does he reference there specifically about losing his wife?
Yes, he does.
Okay, so if I were to read the line, in the last 3 years, I moved a couple times, learned pretty much everything I thought about myself was not true, and had my wife pass away. Is this what you were referring to?
Yes.
And when was this ultimately received by you?
October 18th, 2022.
And at that time, did you believe his wife was dead?
Yes.
Did he subsequently tell you that his wife also had been pregnant at the time she passed?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did he indicate at any time that he was in any other relationship, or just that that one had expired? Meaning the relationship had ended, that she had passed?
He never indicated that he was in any kind of relationship with any kind of romantic relationship with anybody.
Did you know if he had another wife that preceded the wife you just referenced?
No.
Okay. So at that time, you thought that the only time he had been married was to the woman he described on October 18th?
Yes.
Okay. Did he say how she died initially?
Yes, he said that she died in a hospital and that blood pressure complications and possibly an undiagnosed heart condition as well.
I'm now showing you the next slide. That would be 1.95. Can you read us that paragraph starting she had?
She had an undiagnosed heart issue that was aggravated by her pregnancy, very sudden change in the way I thought life would look, but doing my best now to figure it out.
So he told you that in this tweet?
In this private message, yep, on Twitter.
What day did he tell you that?
October 22nd, 2022.
Did you know that his current wife was alive on that date at that time?
No.
And he described it as a very sudden change. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
Did he mention if they had children? Other than that she was pregnant when she passed?
No other children, just that she was pregnant and that she lost he lost both her and the unborn child, is what he told me, and that he had no other children. No.
Okay. Did him telling you that his wife had passed impact your trust of Mr. Stark?
It definitely impacted me. It made me feel very sad and bad for him. Because that's a terrible thing that could happen to somebody, you know, to lose your wife and an unborn child. That's how I felt at the time. I felt bad for him.
Okay.
Thank you, Stacy. 5 months.
Did you convey that to him?
Yes, I felt empathy because that's when I thought he had lost his wife and unborn child.
Did that also facilitate you continuing to chat with him?
I did continue to chat with him, yes.
And did that then progress to that more flirtatious and romantic stage that you described for the jury?
I would say more like emotional at first because I had lost somebody close to me too, you know, I thought too at the time. So more emotional and then, yeah, eventually flirtatious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she say
Now,
I'd lost somebody I thought?
At some point, you said in December, he came to visit you. You had just moved, is that right?
I had moved in November. Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
So just like about a month prior.
Okay. And when he came to visit, did he stay with you in December of 2022?
No.
Why not?
Well, for one, I wouldn't have somebody stay with me just meeting them. And then two, he had Rusty, his dog, with him, and my house, I rent, and they don't allow pets. Okay. They don't allow like any pets in the place.
Okay. And so, do you know where he was staying when he came in December?
When he came in December, I believed he was at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Well, was your understanding, if I'm correct, that he was going to Missouri, he was going to visit you, and then he was going to Delaware? Is that right?
I think he was going to go back to Georgia first because that was his home, but he did tell me he would have to live for several months in Delaware because that's where he'd be working for the merger acquisition that he was the point person on. That was my understanding.
Okay. Did he move to Delaware as far as you know?
I thought, yeah, that his company was putting him up in Delaware.
Okay.
And not that he had moved there, but that his company was providing like long-term housing while he worked on this merger and acquisition.
Did you know if he had moved to Pennsylvania at some point after his Delaware trip?
I don't think he ever permanently moved to Pennsylvania. He stayed at Airbnbs in Pennsylvania when he was visiting me.
Let me be more clear.
Okay.
Was he staying in Pennsylvania in some location at some point while the time period from December forward in 2022?
From December forward, to my knowledge, I mean, he was spending the work time in Delaware, and then he would spend some weekends in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Like when he wasn't working in Delaware.
Okay. So as far as you knew, he was commuting basically from Delaware and staying back at the Airbnb in Pennsylvania.
Yes, that was my understanding. Yeah.
Okay. And when that was occurring, would it be fair to say what months?
I met him in December. It would have been, the last half of December, January, February, March, April of 2023, and then that first half or so of May 2023 until the day he was arrested.
Okay. So during all that time, you weren't living together?
No, we were not. We never moved in together. We did stay at the same Airbnb, some Airbnbs that he rented together.
Okay. And at that point, you said that the relationship grew and it became a romantic relationship, correct?
Yes.
Did there come a time when he described to you the process of moving and what had happened with his belongings?
Yes, he told it like an anecdote in Twitter direct messages, I believe, about how he had moved previously and some of his things, I think, were water damaged in a moving pod, like a storage pod.
Okay, I'm now going to turn to 1.96. Would it be fair to say that sometime in early November you were talking about your move with him?
Yes.
Okay, and that's when he made the quip about his belongings?
Yes.
So I'm directing your attention to Exhibit 1.96, the paragraph that states, I highly recommend putting 85% of your belongings in a pod for a year that is defective and not actually watertight if you want help downsizing. Is that what you were referring to?
Yes.
And as a result of that, did you believe that he just didn't have a lot of things?
I believed that some of his things had been damaged. I don't know that I had a real image of how many things he had at that point.
Okay.
But that he had lost things, yeah.
Quite a bit. Okay. Yeah. Now, those conversations and those tweets at the time, would it be fair to say that they were pretty innocuous? You didn't think very much about any of it, other than just banter?
Yeah, I'd say from that first message in September through October, and you can even notice in October sometimes there's gaps in days to where before I would respond, and probably even the first part of November, it felt very, very light, and then it picked up frequency, and I'd say emotional resonance. Yeah.
Okay. And at some point, did he talk to you about his work and moving and things of that nature?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to direct you to slide number 20. That for you would be 1.97.
This is the short version.
Would it be fair to that some of these got very personal?
Yes.
Can you tell us what he told you about his upbringing?
He told me that he had a very horrible upbringing, that he was abused. Should I tell you just what's on this or what he told me later in general?
I'm just referring to...
just this, that he had a bad abusive upbringing, and that his he found out late in life, like as an adult, that he had been adopted and that his parents, who he thought were his parents, were not his actual, like, biological parents.
Who are sitting behind him
Did
right
you believe
now.
that?
His mom turns
Yes.
to look at him.
Now, in the weeks coming up to him visiting you in December, were there communications?
Yes.
I'm going to turn your attention to slide exhibit 1.98. This is slide 22.
I believe it's a reporter back there.
Do you see where he references in the second paragraph, I'm trying to get a bit ahead on work so I can spend the next few weeks traveling. Did he indicate to you exactly where he planned on going? You can read that to us if that makes it easier.
Let's see. He said, I'm trying to get a bit ahead on work so I can spend the next few weeks traveling. I'll still be working, but like to have a little built-in cushion on projects when dealing with the vagaries of Wi-Fi on the road.
Vagaries.
Going to spend this weekend in Virginia, then New York, then on to New England until after Thanksgiving. So hopefully going to spend a little time poking around and seeing how a few spots feel in terms of life there. Seems like a better use of my time than the 45 Zillow emails I wake up to every morning.
So it was your understanding that in the weeks leading up to this email or text on November 8th that he was traveling?
That is correct, and this would have been far before the Missouri trip, he told me. And he told me, I don't know about like what he was doing in these places, but he did say that he met with one of his his biological father's lawyers during this time, I think was something he said in terms of that trip.
So at this point, you didn't have any reason to believe that he was homebound and couldn't leave his residence, right?
No.
I'm turning your attention to slide number 1.99. Would it be fair to say that this is also in November?
Yes.
Okay. And these were all leading up to the time period when he was coming to visit you? Or, well, I should say, when you were developing a relationship?
Yes. At this time, he had never, we were not even talking about, we had not talked about a visit that I can remember.
Okay.
That didn't come up till December.
Okay. So on November 10th, that last paragraph, can you read that for us?
Tomorrow, so I had asked, when do you leave, in the previous message, and he says, tomorrow afternoon, going to get on the road a little early and hopefully miss the traffic. I always say that I'm going to sit down and come up with a list of things I need to pack and just save it so I can print it out every time and have the basic things figured, but I never have managed.
So as far as you knew, on November 10th, he told you he was going to be going on a road trip November 11th of 2022.
Yes, that's correct.
And still at that point, he never told you that he was unable to leave his residence, correct?
No, he never said he was unable to leave any residence.
Okay. Now, during your relationship, you indicated that at some point you shifted to some phone communication. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever use something called Signal app?
We did not use the Signal app to communicate.
Okay. Are you familiar with it?
I am. Mm-hmm.
Okay. But you didn't use that?
We didn't use it to communicate, no. And I didn't use it at that time, no.
What about Proton email?
I knew he used Proton email because I think I saw it on some of the emails. I did not use Proton email. I had actually not, I didn't even know about Proton email until I saw it like in one of his emails, like I can't remember what you call that, the @.com. Yeah.
Okay. But he didn't require you to use that with him?
No.
Okay. Can you tell the jury, in late November, when you and he had just started talking, did anything happen to your vehicle?
Yes.
Tell the jury what happened.
I had a flat tire on my
Okay.
car in November.
Okay. And did that prove to be problematic in any way?
I mean, just as problematic as a flat tire, would be to anyone. I was, moving, and then it definitely was like a hassle, yeah.
Timing not so convenient?
Yeah, and I'm very bad with cars, so.
Okay.
Car trouble stresses me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did Mr. Stark offer to assist in any way?
He did.
What did he do?
He offered, and keep in mind we had never met, and he offered like via messages, because we were talking on WhatsApp at that time. He offered to fix the flat. He had said that he could have my car towed to a repair shop and have the flat tire fixed.
And did he do that for you?
He did, and I was very surprised.
Okay.
Yes.
At that point, I believe your first communication was October 18th of 2022. Be fair to say that was some approximately to 4 weeks later?
Our first communication was September 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I'm sorry, what was the second half of that?
How long had you known him before he had your tire fixed?
I mean, I wouldn't even say that I knew him at that time. I'd been messaging him online for, it would have been a month and a half to 2 months, somewhere in that range.
What did he have done for your car?
Okay, so he told me he was only going to fix the flat tire at the repair shop. When I got to the repair shop, my friend took me to pick up my car, I was very surprised because the clerk at the repair shop, he said that Nick had paid for 4 new tires and 2 new bulbs on the front headlights. I'm not 100% certain that's what it was called, but he did some kind of repair or something to the front headlights. I think it was new bulbs. Yeah.
Did you determine how much that cost?
It was a big bill. I mean, what I would consider big. It was like, I think it was $600 and something in that range. Yeah.
Was that concerning to you?
Yes.
What did you do as a result?
I felt a mix of feelings. I felt grateful as you do when somebody does something kind for you, but it also felt like a lot, and it already felt like a lot just to have somebody fix your my tire for me, and then the surprise of that it was 4 new tires and then like a bulb change or something. It was just a lot. It was a lot to the point that the clerk at the car shop, he said something like, "Is that your husband or is that your boyfriend? He is so nice." And I said, "No." I said, "He's just an acquaintance, Yeah.
Did you have a conversation with him about that? Boundaries?
I first talked to some friends about it just to get their opinion because it was such a big gift. Mm-hmm. And then I did talk to him and I said, that was too much. That was a lot. You said it was going to be 1 tire, then you did 4. That's a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in response to that conversation, let me be clear. Do you remember when you had that problem with your tire?
It was November of 2022. I do not remember the exact date.
Okay. Was it beginning of November, end of November, if you recall?
I think it was the last half of November of 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
And after you had the conversation with him about boundaries and too much, what did he do?
He had this sort of like, he apologized, he kind of played it off, and he said this endearing thing kind of to where he's just like, "I'm so sorry, you're right, that was an odd gift, most guys, I've just been he said something like, I've been out of practice for a while, and here I am like thinking that he's been, grieving for 2 years. And he's like, I've just been out of practice, I haven't dated. He's like, I just wanted to do something nice for you. He's like, but yeah, you're right, tires. He's like, come on, like what guy gives a girl tires? He's like, it should have been flowers, right? Or something. And I said, yeah, flowers would have been more appropriate, than the 4 new tires. And then it kind of became like a little, it's like that conversation changed it from something that felt alarming at first to something that felt like, oh, okay, like he hasn't been dating for a while and he went overboard, you know what I mean? He must like me, and he went a little overboard in showing that. And it then became a little bit of an like an in-joke throughout our relationship, he'd be like, oh, the tires, yeah, like what kind of guy gives a girl he's dating tires? That was so stupid of me, like that kind of thing he used to say, yeah.
Did he subsequently give you flowers the following week?
Yes, about a week later, he had a very nice bouquet of flowers, like hand delivered, like delivered to me, my house, for like, yeah.
Was that still in late November?
I believe so. If it wasn't late November, then it would have been probably the first week in December, but I think it was about a week after that, the tire repair, yeah.
At some point, did you and Mr. Stark get engaged?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall when that was?
It was April, or no, I'm sorry, we got engaged. The reason I said April, we got married in April. We got engaged in February of 2023.
Do you remember the date?
I don't.
Okay.
I want to forget the date. I don't remember. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's February.
Okay. So at some point in February of 2023, you get engaged. And then did you ultimately apply to get married?
Yes.
Can you tell us,
you spin me right
prior
round.
to getting married, did you have to fill out paperwork for that?
Yes, he filled out the paperwork. And I think it was an online application.
Okay. And as a result, at this time, I'm going to show her 1.92. Do you recognize that document?
Yes.
What is that?
This is the marriage license application that was submitted for our marriage.
Okay. And do you recognize that to be just a photocopy of the original?
Yes.
At this time, I would seek to introduce I believe, is that 9.2?
No objection.
It's admitted.
Can we please publish that? Thank you.
What's up? We're looking.
And does that reference your names at the top of that?
Yes.
And was it required to indicate how many marriages this was for you?
Yes.
And does it indicate how many it was for Mr. Stark?
Yes.
And what was that?
He wrote that it was his second.
Did he indicate how his last marriage ended?
Yes.
And how was that?
Death.
And did he give a date of her death?
December 1st, 2020.
And this was issued when?
April 13th, 2023.
Did it reference the names of his parents?
Yes, this is who he said were his biological parents. Edward Williams as his father, living in the UK, and Susan Fox, living in California, as his mother.
Did you understand that to be who he claimed were which parents, the adopted or the biological?
Biological parents that he had connected with and found out, later in life, as an adult. That's who I thought they were.
Does this also reflect the date that it was initially filed?
Yes, April 10th, 2023.
And did both you and Mr. Stark have to sign that document?
Yes.
And did you?
Yes.
Those are both of your signatures?
Yes.
Okay. And that, of course, is your name also at the top, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, did you subsequently actually get married?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that was also sometime in April?
Yes, that was in April 2023, I believe, late April.
Okay. And prior to getting married, did you and Mr. Stark discuss your living arrangements? What you were going to do after you got married?
Yes.
Okay. What was the plan?
He was going to move to PA, and he wanted to buy a house, and then he said that we would both live in that house together, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And as a result of that, who was going to pay for the house?
Nick Stark.
Okay. Did he indicate to you whether he was financially in a position to be able to afford the house without your assistance?
Yeah, that over time, but yes, yes, he said he was able to do that.
Okay, so he was going to be the one buying it.
Correct.
Okay. Was he responsible then for the arrangements for the finances?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So can you tell the jury, did you in fact start looking for houses together?
Yes.
Did you find any?
We did. At first we were looking at houses for him because he said he was going to move to PA. And so it was just a house for him. And then as our relationship progressed, we started looking together. And we did. We found several that we liked, and then we landed on one, so to speak, or chose one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did that ultimately result in an offer, acceptance, and a closing?
It resulted in an offer. He made an offer. I believe the offer was accepted. Mm-hmm. And if I'm thinking about it, it's because I'm not like real estate. I've never bought a house before. And I think he had put like a deposit or whatever, earnest money, whatever it's called in real estate. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And was there an actual closing date scheduled?
Yes.
Okay. So do you know when that was?
Yes.
When was that?
March 20th, 2023.
And why do you remember that date specifically?
It was a traumatic day.
What happened?
We were supposed to close that day, and in the morning I was still in bed. We were staying together at an Airbnb in Pennsylvania. I was still in bed, and he woke me up, and he said he looked like he had already been up for a bit, totally dressed, and he said that he was going to go run some errands and pick up the check for the closing, the cashier's check, and that he would be back before closing.
Do you remember when the closing was supposed to be?
I think it was around noon, but I'm not positive. I don't remember the exact hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was sometime during the day?
Yep, sometime during the day.
Okay.
Yes.
And he left to go get the check?
Yes.
Was he supposed to come back to the house?
Yes, he was. Yes,
okay.
Before closing. Yeah.
Did he have a car at that time?
Yes.
Do you know what type of car it was?
I believe it was, I could definitely recognize it if I saw it. I believe it was a Ford. It was kind of like an SUV, a larger SUV. I want to say it was a Ford Explorer.
Okay.
And I believe it was green.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, he left to go pick up the check?
Yes.
And was supposed to come home?
Yes.
Did he come home in timely fashion?
No.
What happened?
He wasn't home when I thought, he probably should have been. Like, it was getting closer and closer to the closing time. And so I started texting him, like, on WhatsApp, like, hey, are you okay? Is everything okay? Because it felt unusual. And then I started calling him, and I wasn't getting through to him. It was either going, like, right to voicemail or just, like, clicking off. The connection was clicking off. And then I got a very alarming text message from him.
Okay.
And it said, or WhatsApp message, same thing. It said, my car buddy, because I think autocorrect, I just remember this text. It said, my car buddy into flames. And of course, like, reading that message, I'm like, buddy first, like the autocorrect. And I was just, that's such a strange message to ever receive. But, so then I'm like calling him frantically, and I didn't get through to him. I might have gotten through to him for a second, and then he like handed the phone off. But then I talked to a paramedic or an EMT, some kind of like medical professional.
Was at the scene with him?
Yes, correct.
Okay. At that point, you said that he had been on his way to the bank. Is that right?
That's what he told. He said he had to run like some errands and also pick up the cashier's check or registered check from the bank, from Citizens Bank. Yep.
Did you know how much the check was for?
Citizens Bank.
I do not remember the exact amount, but I can tell you it was something like, it was a large amount. It was $800,000, I want to say, or $850,000. It was a very large amount of money. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So is your understanding that he was picking up the check and that he had been involved in a car fire of some sort.
Car accident is what I was thinking at that time.
You thought car accident, okay.
You know, because even reading I was like, I couldn't really fathom what had actually happened, you know?
Right.
But yes, some kind of car incident.
Did you know if the car was new?
I think it was pretty new. I don't think it was an old car.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, did he go to the hospital?
So that's something, I asked the EMT or the paramedic, and I said, is he going to the hospital? Like, you know, like what hospital can I meet him at? Those kinds of things. And she said, he doesn't want to go to the hospital. And I said, but are you, like, should he? Is he okay? You know, like I was asking like those kind of caring, concern questions. And I still didn't really grasp, I didn't grasp what had happened to the car or how like severe it was, because I remember asking the paramedic or the EMT, I said, can you make sure, you know, he gets all of his things out of the car? And she kind of, I don't want to say chuckled. It wasn't like she was amused, but she was just like, I can try, but I don't think there's anything left in that car. And hearing that, I still was like a little bit confused. You know, I didn't understand the scope. And then, you know, I asked, you know, are you sure he's okay to not go to the hospital? And she said, well, he doesn't want to go. Like, we can't, you know, yeah, he just wants to go back to you or whatever, or home, you know.
When he got home, did you take him to the hospital?
Yes, I insisted on taking him to the hospital. I was concerned about him.
Why?
Well, when he walked through the door of the Airbnb, he was like crying a little. He was shaking. He had some, like, he looked a little burned, like on his face. Like he was missing, I want to say like half an eyebrow. Like he had, yeah.
Okay. As a result, I'm going to show you 1.91.
He was too close when it ignited.
Do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
Yes.
What is that?
That would be his medical bracelet, like the bracelets they put on you at hospitals, and that was from his when I took him to the hospital. Yeah.
Okay. And at this time, Your Honor, I would like to introduce that exhibit 1.91, I believe.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted without objection.
I'm going to publish it. Did that reflect the admission date on it right there?
Yes. Yes, March 20th, 2023. Yep.
Thank you. That was the day of the closing as well?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And at that point, do you know what happened with respect to the car? In terms of the insurance? How did that go?
I still don't. Oh, you mean like the insurance? I don't know. I still don't know what happened, really. We went to the hospital, and then I had asked him, did you call insurance? And he said no. And I'm thinking he's in shock, and so I, encouraged him to do so. I said, well, you should report that, to your insurance company that you had an accident or a fire or whatever it was. And so I believe he did that, yes.
Okay. Yeah. But initially it was your impression that he had not.
Correct. He was acting, I thought he was in shock because he wasn't doing the things that I had always been told to do if you have a car accident.
Maybe the security team called for him.
And that was strange for him because he was usually such a intelligent, put together person. Like it just seemed odd. Like photos. I had asked him a day or two after the fire. I said, "Did you take any photos of your car? The damage?" And he said no. And he said, "Do you think I should?" And I said, I remember specifically saying this to him. I said, "Nick," "you're a lawyer." I said, "What would you advise a client to do?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I guess you're right. I'll go take photos." And so then he went and took photos, and it was the photos that he showed me that I finally realized the extent of the damage to this car, and I was horrified.
Did you see the photographs yourself?
Yes.
How bad was the car?
As bad as you could possibly imagine. There was nothing, it was just a frame, it looked like, of the car.
Frame and 4 new tires.
Like a metal frame.
There was nothing left of the car.
Yes, and then it made sense with the paramedic, her reaction, when I had asked to get his things out of the car.
After the incident with the car, did you follow through? Because that
cold.
happened, you said March 20th of 23.
Yes.
Did you follow through with your plans to get married?
Yes.
Okay. And that's when we showed you the marriage license, is that correct? Or the application?
Yep. Yes.
Okay. Did you know a woman by the name of Heather Thomas? Had he ever mentioned a woman by that name?
He mentioned he had a girlfriend named Heather. He said it was just a girlfriend. He said she had wanted to marry him and he did not want to, and they broke up, and that it was a messy breakup. That's what he had said.
Never told you that was his wife?
No.
Never told you that he had divorced her?
No.
Did you know if he owed her any money?
No. He told me he was debt-free. He told me he owed nobody nothing.
He said he didn't owe anything?
That's correct. He said he was completely debt-free.
During your relationship with him, did you discuss having children, the two of you?
Yes.
Did that seem important to him?
Very much so, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And at that point, did you make any arrangements to try and get pregnant?
Yes, around the time we got married. Yep.
Can you tell the jury what you did?
I went to a preconception appointment at my with a certified midwife at my OB office. Yep.
Okay. So that was right around what point in time?
Right around the date of our marriage. Yep.
Okay. So that was right away.
Yes, that's correct.
Now, you've testified that you had no idea that Mr. Kassotis had a first wife, no less a second wife, correct?
That's correct.
And
that he didn't have. I testified that he didn't have. What do you mean by that?
Let me clarify that. It was your testimony that you didn't know that his wife was alive when he first met you.
Yeah, no, I did not know that.
And at this point, you didn't know either that there was potentially a first wife named Heather Thomas.
Right, that's what I thought you were. Yeah, okay. I didn't know he had a wife before.
Okay, can you tell us how you came to learn of those things?
I came to learn of those things through Agent, over the course of several conversations with Agent Tracy Sands of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation after Nick was arrested.
Do you see Agent Sands here today?
I do.
Can you point him out for us?
I have some internet issues. Hang on.
He's right there next to you. Yep, in the middle. Yeah.
The record can so reflect, Your Honor.
It reflects.
And can you tell us, how did it make you feel learning that he had not only the first wife who had passed, but the second wife from before her?
I don't think words will ever capture how I felt, but I felt if I had to choose some words, I'd say horrified, shocked, traumatized, violated, deceived.
What did you do?
In the days that followed his arrest, I contacted Agent Sands multiple times. Tried to, after learning that, I tried to be as helpful as I could be, because I was horrified. And so in the days that followed, I took pictures of all the belongings that he had in the Airbnb and sent the photos to Agent Sands and asked if they needed anything of his belongings. And they requested some of those, and I had them shipped to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. And then I also, like his laptops, his phones, and when I say laptops and phones, because he had one for work, one for personal. And then I also started looking messages, emails, anything that I thought the Georgia Bureau of Investigation might want to see. It was just, I was still in shock, but I knew that I wanted to be helpful because what I was hearing was so horrifying and I had no idea. And so I was trying to be as helpful in those immediate days as I could be.
What did you do about your marriage?
I wanted it annulled because I felt like the marriage and everything in the marriage was not consensual because of his fraud, and I wanted it annulled. And annulment in Pennsylvania is very difficult. It's very, very rigid about the requirements to get an annulment. It has to be fraud or like some very specific other things. So it was very hard to get a lawyer who would actually even pursue it, but I did get one, and we filed for an annulment and a divorce at the same time in case the annulment wouldn't go through. There are not a lot of annulments in Pennsylvania, to my understanding. And then I had to wait several months before we could go to a hearing, and we went to a hearing at a court of common pleas in Pennsylvania. And
did you get an annulment?
And the judge in Pennsylvania granted my annulment on the basis of his fraud. And so that was that's very rare in Pennsylvania that they do that. So the marriage was declared null and void because he committed fraud against me.
Do you know whatever happened to the house that you were supposed to buy?
I have no idea.
Did you ever buy it?
No.
Did you ever move into a house that he purchased?
No.
Did you ever see that check that was supposed to be picked up?
No, he said the check burned in the car fire. The cashier's check. Yeah.
I have nothing further, Your Honor.
Mr. Weinstein, cross-examination.
It's an expensive fire. That's why the car burned. The check had to disappear.
Good morning, Ms. Klesner. I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Nick Kassotis. I just have a question for you about the down payment on the home. Do you recall Nick Kassotis putting a $50,000 down payment on that house?
He said he did, yes.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Anything else?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am. You're excused.
Poor Doug. He's got a tough job here representing this client.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been over 2 hours, so we'll go ahead and take a morning break. If you'll step out with the bailiffs, please.
I'm sitting here thinking, what in the world can the defense do? And honestly, I think at this point, all they're left with is being like, yeah, we tried to subpoena Jim. We can't get him. We're trying. We've emailed him. We've talked. We've been emailing the whole security team. We're trying to get somebody here, somebody we can, issue a subpoena to, and they're too elusive.
The jury's out. We're in recess.
They just have to embrace the lie. I think at this point, there's nothing else available. Oh. And will he take the stand? Is Nicholas enough of a, narcissist, whatever, to be like, yeah, I'm gonna tell them. They'll believe me when I tell them. Everyone else has. Oh man, DSN, I've thought that several times. Every time they show the defendant, you can see his parents right behind him, and watching the mom's reaction. I think it's clear that there are things she's hearing for the first time that are surprising her. And it's wild. What a morning. What a morning. I hope he takes the stand. He would advise his client not to, and his attorney should advise his client not to, but we do sort of hope he does anyway. How else can they get this information in? Okay, there's no Jim. I'm putting my money out there. There's no Jim in this trial. We're not going to get to hear from him. Defense has a steep hill to climb. I think he's not going to take the stand. I don't know who they're going to call in their case. I think they've only got 3 people listed. I'll have to look back at the documents. I think defense has listed 3 people as potential defense witnesses. Doesn't mean they're going to call all 3, but still need the computer forensics. Doug can't knowingly elicit false testimony. Maybe he'll let him just free spool it and just go in narrative. Wow. Definitely can't call the parents. Yeah, they're... Who is Jim? Cherry, this is a great question. We have a counter going on the screen during trial. That's the Jim McIntyre counter. 8 times during defense opening, which went first in this case, which was a little weird. But defense opening went first, and then state went after. 6 times in defense, 2 times in prosecution, Jim McIntyre was brought up as this, this elusive figure that's both watching out for and directing the actions of Nicholas Kassotis and his wife and some of their family members. Sounds like he's on the security team, but when we say security team, Nick said there was a security team. And that's all the evidence we have, other than some emails from the company that Nick said he worked at, which was the security team company. Have they done a psych eval on the defendant? I think they probably have. Gonna make my scrambled eggs just listening. Yeah, this scrambles my mind just thinking this all through. Don't you have to wire money for closing most times? I work in mortgage, and in my experience, most title companies would only do wires due to fraud issues if it's over $5,000. I'm guessing Blue Annie. I don't know how to say your name, Blue. I'm guessing that there was no check. There was no $800,000 check. He needed the car to burn so that there would be no check. Which tells me that there was no check to begin with. So I thought for some reason that the car was being burned because the potential for having evidence, forensic evidence from the murder of his second wife in it. That's what I thought going into this. But now I realize that it was entirely, apparently, to support the lies he had told to his third wife. And the idea that he got too close to the ignition point and may have singed his eyebrows, that's just I'm sorry, oh man. I was trying to save the check. And I dove into the flames, but it burned up in my hands. I don't know what the story is on that one, but wow. Will they call anyone from the FBI to say they're all lies? I guess the prosecution could and say we've never had anyone, but who would believe? Of course that's something the FBI would say, right? if you're an FBI doubter, of course the FBI is going to deny all knowledge that they have shadowy figures working for them. He is a master manipulator. I think he definitely had money from somewhere. So maybe it was retirement, maybe it was his job. He had some money. And it was enough money that some of the lies he told had teeth to them. It had some level of support because he could financially back up his story in a way. And now he was writing bigger and bigger checks that his bank account couldn't cash. When it comes to stories, so like the 800,000 and the sale of the software that's going to come, it's when it sells, we're boom, lots of money. Be planning how you want to spend it, because it's coming. It's coming. It's just a matter of time. And I guess those are stories that people want to believe. I mean, you look at the statistics on the lottery, and statistically, you're going to lose if you play. Period. But people want to believe they're going to win. And so they buy the ticket. Very, 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 very few people actually come out winners in playing the lottery. And some of those even end up being losers as well. But yeah, I guess when the story sounds good and there's a little bit of support and you stand to benefit from the story being true, it's easier to overlook the red flags, of which there were many. But if you don't play, you don't win. So just screw. I know. I'm not knocking somebody who's playing the lottery. Obviously, somebody has to win, in theory. At some point, the prize just gets bigger and bigger, right? But I'm just saying that that maybe, if you do play the lottery and you've never won, but you still play, maybe that might help explain the mindset that somebody is hoping that something is true. That's coming, and it might be. There's a chance, right? Why did he start these stories to begin with? I don't know. It looks like he, upon retirement, maybe wanted to become an author. Let me read you this in Amazon. There's a author profile for Nick Moorfox, and that's Nick. Moorfox is spelled Moorefox. He said his biological mom's name was last name was Fox on the wedding certificate. About the author, Nick Moorfox is a horror writer, voracious reader, and decent cook. A veteran, Nick loves wild places, cozy towns, the Oxford comma, and stories where the dog survives. Born in Glasgow, Scotland, Nick was raised in New England, and after stints in the Mid-Atlantic, the Middle East, Latin America, and Europe, now resides in the Blue Ridge Mountains. Nick is an active member of the Horror Writers Association, HWA. His work has appeared in the charity anthology Diabolica Americana, as well as Sotiera Press and the No Sleep podcast, and Erie River Publishing. A film adaptation of one of his short stories is forthcoming from Sony's 3000 Pictures. You can find him online and it lists a web address that no longer is valid. I think that's the same guy. Yeah, we can all get behind the Oxford comma, right? I love a good comma. Man after my own heart in that one area. But so it sounds like done with the military. I think JAG was probably really important to him, but when that was done, his time in the military was done, I think he was sort of maybe looking for more meaning and had to turn it up a notch. And through horror stories got the attention that he was looking for. And then his life became one. Or he made his life one and other people's. About 1 million remained when he passed, and that's a different one. I thought you were talking about the case, Kim. Sorry. My sister-in-law won $4.2 million on a $20 scratch-off. He didn't share any with us. My son-in-law, sorry, not sister-in-law. He didn't share any with us, but wasted most of it before dying of drug overdose 6 months later. Oh, Kim, that's terrible. Yeah, we're all trying to find out what happened to Rusty. I missed where he ended up. We should all imagine Rusty living with wife number 3. I don't know if any of his stories have to do with, or how or if any of his stories mirror the crime or where the similarities all are. Ali G, happens to all of us. Happens to all of us. I'm guilty of being able to sleep at a moment's notice. So you've seen me do it here in court, live on the air. Twubble, no, he's retired. They're not going to re-prosecute the same case because it was after he was retired. I don't think they do anything. Security team is four-legged. Legally Blonde says in the early 90s, my dad won $10,000 on a lotto ticket, used some of his winnings for another ticket, and won $15,000 on that one. I would stop at that point. Just stop. You're ahead. You're ahead. Don't. It's not just the lack of money that keeps people from winning. It's that most people don't win. Panda Express just sent me a little notification. Hot orange chicken is back. I didn't know that. That was news to me. Get panda delivered. Oh, no. Tempted, but no. All right. That's Ivan level gambling. Yeah. My security team at night involves 4 skunks. That's effective. True Crime says, watching this trial, it has me thinking that at least the person that gave me PTSD wasn't an unaliver. I've got that going. True Crime would count the good things, right? I think his retirement may have triggered schizophrenia or something like that. I've had many friends with a son, had family friends with a son living with schizophrenia. It's insane. I don't think he's at that point here. I think if he truly had that sort of disorder, his lawyer would be screaming that from the rooftops. Yes, apparently when you buy enough from Panda Express and you download their app and you give them their information, they do in fact remind you to buy from them. I've unlocked a free appetizer. I can get a free egg roll. Or spring roll. I've spent enough that I can redeem my reward. What if Jim McIntyre is Rusty's alias?
No, you're fine.
They're not going
Miss
with the
Bale's
incentive.
not here yet. No hurry.
Judge is back, so mics are hot, but we're missing a prosecutor.
All right, are we ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, we can bring the jury in.
Virginia, we generally buy it when we're together. It's one of the places we go on date nights. Sometimes we'll stop at 2 different places, so she gets food she wants and I get food I want. Then we just eat together. But the last person to go to Panda Express was Mrs. R.A. for me without telling me. She just surprised me with Panda Express. Jen, you're saying the quiet part out loud. I don't think he exists either. I think it's going to become painfully clear before this trial is over that that's the case. Intuitive booty. Jim is coming. Don't worry. Jim's coming. Just wait. Yes, Greeners, that exactly. Because it costs about the same, is what I'm saying. 4 tires is about the same as a large meal from Panda Express. Here we are. Let's go, Judge.
All right, if everyone would please be seated, please call the next witness.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask for permission to go a little bit out of order so that we don't waste any time,
Sure.
if that's possible. What exhibit number are we up to? For 1.100, I believe, correct? Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state is going to call Agent Tracy Sands.
Oh, Tracy, this is the GBI agent who got to or had to break the news to virtually everybody that believed the lies that were told, and got to say, actually, he is alive. Actually, she has passed. Or that's not his real name.
It will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help you God.
This can be spicy.
Good morning, Agent Sands.
Good morning.
Can you please spell your name for the court reporter?
Tracy, it's Tracy. Last name Sands, Sands.
And Agent Sands, where do you work?
I'm a special agent with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. I work with the Region 5 Field Office, which covers Liberty County, although our office is in Statesboro.
And just for this portion of your testimony, we're going to be discussing the audio statements that were preserved in connection with Mr. Kassotis.
Okay.
And play them, please.
As a result of being a member of law enforcement, did there come a time when you took some arrest warrants in this case?
I did.
And when you took those arrest warrants, did they ultimately result in the arrest of Mr. Kassotis?
Yes, ma'am.
Where was he arrested?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
And do you recall the date?
Would have been May the 11th or 12th.
Okay.
Somewhere in that area.
Would it be of 2022 or 3?
23.
Okay. And at that point, did you have an opportunity to speak with him after he had been arrested?
12th.
Okay. So on May 12th of 2023, he was arrested, and subsequently, did you speak with him after his arrest?
Well, I actually had to fly to Pennsylvania first, so I met with him the following day, which would have been May the 13th.
You can text me directly.
Pennsylvania is not your location, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So how did the arrangements get made for where you were going to have the interview?
We called ahead and requested assistance. We had been working with the Pennsylvania State Police, U.S. Marshals, as FBI, as well as others. So we contacted the facility he was housed at and requested to schedule an interview as soon as we could arrive.
And as a result of that scheduling, did you have an opportunity to sit down with him?
I did.
Who was present?
Detective Jack Frost with the Liberty County Sheriff's Office, who's now Investigator Frost.
And were you also, of course, there?
Yes, ma'am.
And who else was the interview subject?
Yes. Mr. Kassotis was there at that time.
Okay, and if the record can reflect, he is indicated towards the defendant. At that time, did you sit down with him, with Investigator Frost and yourself?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And was that a situation where you were able to record that interview?
We did. We were anticipating a video recording, but I always carry an audio recorder just in case as a backup, and we actually used an audio recording device at that time.
Okay. Did you have access to a video recorder at the time?
Not there. Like I say, it was a very large facility, so I anticipated one being there. But once we got in the room, they had actually put it was more like a closet than an interview room.
Okay. And
ex-wife stays.
Did you in fact record it?
I did.
Okay. And previously you heard some testimony concerning Investigator Frost discussing the Miranda waivers. Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'm going to show you 2.19.
I am hoping we get to hear this audio recording.
Are you familiar with that exhibit?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
That is our standard GBI waiver of rights forms.
Okay. And what is the intent of using that form?
To advise the person being interviewed of their Miranda rights.
Okay. Was this unique in this case with respect to Miranda rights?
It was. Over my 30-year career, I can only think of a handful of attorneys that I had interviewed.
Okay. And as far as you knew, what was Mr. Kassotis' former employment?
He was a judge advocate general with the Navy.
And in that capacity, does that handle criminal matters?
Yes, ma'am.
Does that act in the form of a prosecutor?
Yes, ma'am. My understanding is they act as prosecutors and defense, depending on which case is assigned.
Okay. So at that time, did you follow the same protocols, irrespective of the fact that he was previously a lawyer or was a lawyer?
Yes, ma'am. He was a suspect in custody, so we advised him of his Miranda rights.
Okay. And are those rights documented on that form?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Who read him his rights?
I read him his rights.
Okay. And is that captured on the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you in any way threaten Mr. Kassotis?
I did not.
Did you offer him some benefit in order to give a statement?
I did not.
And everything that was said, is that on the audio?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. At this time, prior to coming in, did you have an opportunity to listen to that audio again to confirm that it was the audio recording in its entirety?
Yes, ma'am, numerous times.
Okay. And is that a complete and accurate recording of what occurred and transpired on May 13th of 2023 in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
At this time, Your Honor, I'm going to ask that the USB that I physically have it on be marked itself. There are other exhibits on it, Your Honor, so I will go through that with counsel prior to the jury, but I would ask, I guess our next one is 1.101. So I will mark the USB with that sticker, if that's okay.
I'm hoping to hear just how charismatic he is in telling this story. See maybe if we want to believe him as we hear it. I mean, obviously we know hindsight that they were lies, but I'd like to hear the defendant himself.
And just so the record is clear, Your Honor, there is a folder on Exhibit 1.101 that reflects statements, and it reflects the date of May 13th, 2023, just to distinguish it.
Thank you.
Thank you to the 593 people who have liked the stream so far.
Do you know approximately how long that initial interview was?
It was over 2 hours.
Okay. For the purposes of today, Your Honor, I'm going to try and break that up.
Yes. Yes. We get it. We get it. It's going to get crazy. Because the last witness came in and sitting on the back row on the defense
And Your Honor,
side
at this
of the
time,
courtroom.
I now seek to tender 1.101, the file referencing May 13, 2023, Nicholas Killian James Stark.
Any objection?
I'll do what I can on the audio. Hopefully it's good. I'm praying that it's good.
And Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to play the audio.
Apple Treasure, yes, he did make that up. And his biological parents are sitting in the courtroom listening to
You
it.
can just tell me when you're ready, madam.
Oh, this is the screen we get? Maybe we could look around the courtroom during this as well. That would be nice. Audio only.
Hey, sorry. Jack Cross on the Liberty County Sheriff's Office. Hi. Hey, where? Liberty County Sheriff's Office. Okay.
When they had to get the card, I'm going to let you carry them back here or not, but it's no either way. That way, you later.
Okay.
You can get in touch with us. I can go from there. As you know, you read your rights.
Yeah, absolutely. And that water was pretty low. If you need one. Thank you. Yeah.
And what's your name again?
Nicholas Stark.
You have a middle name?
I have two middle names. Killian, K-I-L-I-A-N. James.
Okay. And how old are you?
I'm 40 years old.
40. Okay. And what address are you?
590 Center
I don't know what he's saying there, but I don't need those numbers.
Road, number 345, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, 17601.
Okay. And you were an attorney, so years of schooling?
I mean, I got a postgraduate law degree too, so I don't know, close to 20, I think.
Okay.
12, 16, 19, 21 actually.
Okay. I'll put 21 years and a law degree. Okay.
He's sort of
As I
slouched
told you, I'm a special agent with GBI. He's actually a detective with Liberty County Sheriff's Office. Says I have the right to remain silent Do you understand that, right?
Yes, I do.
It's kind of funny asking you that.
No, it's all right.
Anything I say can be used against me in court of law.
Yes.
Have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present when while being questioned.
Yes.
If I cannot afford to hire a lawyer, will be appointed to represent me for any question if I wish.
Yes.
I can decide at any time to exercise these rights, not answer any questions or make any statements.
Yes.
So to understand my rights, having these rights in mind, I'm willing now to talk to this law enforcement officer.
Yes.
First drive from the airplane, so take me a second.
No, that's all right.
I have not been threatened, promised anything, forced in any way to answer any questions or make any statements.
Yes.
Are you willing to talk to us?
I am.
Wow, he knew better. But here it goes.
You don't want to read my notes?
No, please.
And I noticed I didn't have any video in here or anything.
But you're recording. Yeah, no, that's.
I'm not trying to hide or something.
No, I'm sorry.
And I know yesterday was kind of a surprise, all the stuff going on.
Yeah.
With you. You've been advised of what it was in reference to, correct?
Just very, very briefly.
Okay. This is in reference to the death of Indy.
Yes.
And at that time she was your wife, correct?
Yes, she was.
All right. Let's start. Let's go back to, let's say, 2018.
Okay.
What happened in your life in 2018? I know you've been through a lot of changes in time, but...
Yeah. In 2018, we started undergoing a campaign of harassment.
Okay.
We started with money going missing from our accounts, and
It's the best I can do on audio.
Escalated to vandalism at the house of our vehicles, threats against us.
And where were you living at that time? I know
Alexandria, Virginia.
Alexandria? Okay. Did you make any police reports?
We both made an FBI report,
okay,
but we did not make a police report.
FBI report, okay.
FBI report?
And that was vandalism and burning?
Yes.
What type of vandalism? Like painting or like...
No, broken stuff, nails and tires, rocks through windows. I was getting anonymous emails and text messages threatening to kill me.
Okay. And then what happened?
Trying to get my timeline right. This went on for a long time.
Okay.
Getting worse, it would get a little better, it would get worse. In late 2019, we left Alexandria and went to Charlottesville. We were hoping, to find a,
A new quiet place?
Yeah. Hoping that it would be better. Within, I think, a day or two of arriving there, I was assaulted.
And how were you assaulted?
With a bat or something similar. We had found a place that we could rent for a while, and I had gone there to move some stuff in, and somebody was waiting. There's I believe it was Nelson County. It was I forget what county it was, but.
Do you have any idea who it would have been?
I believe it was Wayne Kassotis.
Okay. And who is Wayne?
Wayne is my father.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we had been told, but this is kind of. We'd been contacted by somebody who initially told us that he was with the FBI. He showed up one day and talked to Mindy, and then later told us he was not. But for years served as. I'm not exactly sure what that conversation was. I wasn't there for it.
Okay.
for years has served as a advisor to us in terms of safety. He told us that he believed that Wayne was at the center of the.
So he talked to him, but you didn't?
I talked to him later. I did not talk to him the first time he came to the house.
But so he first said he was with FBI?
I believe that was her understanding. That he said he was with the FBI.
But later he clarified that
he was not.
Okay.
But he had said that he thought it would be a good idea for us to leave the area of Alexandria, went to Charlottesville, and didn't even make it. I forget if it was one or two. I forget exactly when we got down there. I had 3 broken ribs, I believe.
You'd know if you had 3 broken ribs.
There was not. I called them last fall, and was told that, given the fact that I hadn't actually seen him, and that I was going off of just kind of like the sound. I mean, he's somebody I'm familiar with. The sound of the person, the sounds of the person made. It sounded like him to me.
Okay.
We were really unsure what to do at that point. We bounced around the Charlottesville area for about a month.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, close to 2 months. Close to 2 months. And then had a conversation and decided that we were going to go to Hilton Head for the holidays.
Now, were you still in the Navy then?
No, I was in the process of, and I forget exactly when I got the paperwork. And
I got the paperwork and stuff, and I'm not trying to figure you out. I'm just trying to help my.
Yeah, no. So I hadn't gotten my discharge paperwork yet, but I went to a Navy clinic.
Okay.
But I had not.
I got your official paperwork.
I believe at that point I thought I was still a reservist, and I forget exactly what the date was that the reserve discharge came through.
That's no problem. But y'all were around Charlottesville for around 2 months.
Yeah, around 2 months.
And then you moved to Hilton Head.
Yes.
Do you remember what year that was?
That was Christmas 2019.
Okay.
We arrived Christmas Eve.
And was that when I lived with her brother?
This is the voice of the defendant.
Y'all just had initial, you and her, there was nobody else in, right?
Yeah, so for several months it was just the 2 of us. So this is now early 2020. Stayed in kind of a variety of places. And I want to say it was April. Her parents and her youngest brother moved into a rental that we had.
Okay.
Her father had a knee surgery, and he needed a place where he could recover without stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time they had been living with her middle brother and his wife, but his house was.
So she has 3 brothers?
No, she has 2 brothers.
2 brothers. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
You said middle also.
Yeah. He's the middle child.
Okay.
There was Minnie was the oldest. Frank was, I think, about 3 years younger than her, and then Matthew was, I believe, about 21 years younger than her.
Okay.
He was a late life surprise for her parents. Okay, so we lived with them for 2 months or so, or give or take. Mindy and her father had an argument. She was kind of unhappy with their response to us moving, and then we lived by ourselves for quite a while. We were up in we were in Hilton Head for I think only about a week at this point, more. And we went to Charleston, and we were down in the Beaufort area. Beaufort? Yeah, Beaufort. Beaufort's good? Okay, sorry. I don't say it. And then in February of 2021, we moved in with her brother and his wife. Okay. And their mother was living there as well.
Okay. So Mindy's mother?
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
But her father, where was her father at the time?
Her father was in, I believe it's called Dublin, Georgia. Okay. So Matthew is a bit of a baseball star, and was going at that point was going to high school there. Okay. And now he's going to a junior college somewhere. Okay.
He became a police
South
officer.
Georgia State, possibly. It's probably. We lived with Frank and Megan for over a year. Okay. We had originally thought it would be a short time, but given other things in our life, we felt that that was a good place for us to be, and we wanted to stay with them, kind of into the future.
And what were y'all doing at that time for employment?
I would be working. Maybe it was not working. Neither of us were working per se. I was working on a piece of software analysis of what it was doing on behalf of this advisor, and with the understanding that there would be payment when it was finished.
Did that ever come forward, or was that still pending?
That was still pending when I kind of cut ties with him. Okay.
So you're still developing it now, and it's not like a product somewhere else. You're still working on it.
I'm still working on it. I don't know where it is at this time.
But you're not working on it.
No.
Okay. Yeah.
We had several conversations both with him about payment and with Frank and Megan about living situations and finding houses to live in, and Frank and Megan got to a point where they felt that it was all taking too long, and they did not want to continue planning. They wanted to put their house on the market.
Okay, what was the guy's name, the software guy that you were communicating?
He goes by Jim to me.
Jim?
Jim.
Okay.
Yes. The last name McIntyre. Okay. I quite honestly, I feel like he's lied to me so much that
Have you ever met him in person?
I have met him in person, yes.
Where'd you meet?
I've met him multiple times. He's shown up at places where we were, told us that he thought it was time for us to move, to find a better place.
But the plan was for him to buy the software.
Yes.
Or help facilitate the sale. Okay.
get all the counts right? They're just 3, right?
I believe it was June 2021. We had been told multiple times that we would have a rental, set up in our names locally, where we and Mindy's parents could move.
And that was him telling you that?
Yes.
Okay. Then what happened?
Frank, after one of the times that we'd been told that we'd be out by a certain date, and we came and went, Frank got very upset and filed for eviction for Mindy and I.
And was that the father or the son?
I'm sorry, the son.
Okay.
Who owned the house.
Okay.
At this point, the father was living in the house. He had moved in, I guess, October 2021-ish.
Okay. So you were evicted
by the son. Yeah, Mindy's brother.
Then what?
Her parents put us up in a hotel for a week in Savannah.
Okay.
The defendant's getting shorter and shorter. Watch his eyes; they're moving like crazy.
We waited for we were really upset with how things had gone. We felt like we were kind of abandoned.
Okay.
And Jim said that if we could continue working together, he would have more control. He would, So we rented an Airbnb in Savannah.
Okay.
There was 2 bedrooms. It was big enough for us and for Mindy's parents to stay there as well.
Do you remember the address? Or?
It was on 65th Street,
okay.
But I don't remember the number.
Okay. Then what happened?
We were. I guess one of a constant issue with Jim was him telling us things or asking us to lie on his behalf and not following through. Like causing issues.
And what sort of lies? He was asking you to lie on his behalf. What do you mean by?
Sometimes it was a matter of like telling us stuff that I have reason to doubt, that my parents were not actually my parents. Sometimes it was.
So he told you that your parents weren't your parents.
Yes.
Okay. And how did he get that? What was his source of the information?
He had me take a DNA test and told me that the result that he had gotten a sample from them.
Okay.
He would put me on the phone with people he said were investigators that I questioned whether they were.
Do you remember what company the DNA test was? Was it like Ancestry or?
No, so I didn't.
You just never saw it.
No, he swabbed it. He took it and he took it off, and then told me, at a later time that I was not related to them.
Okay.
But one of the issues.
What was your reason for allowing him to do that? I'm kind of following you. Why would you want Jim to know your family? Why would you give him your DNA?
I trusted him a lot throughout this. I felt like he was keeping us safe, and that he was, when he took this, it was probably fall 2020. Yes, late summer, early fall 2020.
It's a good thing we're not counting every time they say him.
So one of the issues when we were living with Frank and Megan was that a rather large issue was that we've been trying to have a child. I think Mindy had thought that she might be pregnant. She had taken a test that was positive, but it was very early in July of 2020.
July of 2020?
I'm sorry, July of 2021. We were living with them.
Okay.
Now,
was that at 65th Street?
No. This is, we didn't get to 65th Street until July 2022.
Okay.
I think July 2022. June, July, somewhere in there.
Okay.
July 2021, we went to the emergency room because she had some bleeding.
And y'all would have been living in Hilton Head?
Yeah.
Okay. So went to ER.
Went to the ER.
Now, were you getting like your military bill? Was it TRICARE?
No. At this point, we were.
Benefits?
Yeah, we did not have benefits. We were. We were using just like Medicare, Medicaid, whichever. Once for if you're old, and once for if you're not making money at that time. that was the no money one.
Okay. So y'all had no really source of income?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were,
Okay.
depending on Jim for a lot.
And I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but I want to clarify, make sure I get it right.
Yeah, no.
So July 21, she took the test.
Yeah, or she'd taken the test sometime before, but she had some bleeding. July 2021, we went to the hospital learned that she was not pregnant. The woman we spoke to said it was likely a fairly early miscarriage.
And y'all met when? How many years ago?
Oh, Mindy and I?
Yeah.
We met in fall of 2015.
Okay. And you were married in?
October 2016.
Okay. And did y'all start trying to have children then?
We didn't. I was transitioning out of the Navy, and we thought that we would take a couple of years, and then we kind of wound up in the thick of the shit that we were going through.
Life.
Yeah.
In Texas terms. What about when did the rough decision that y'all really wanted to have kids start?
I think when we moved in with, we always said we wanted to have kids, and when we moved in with Frank and Megan, they had recently, probably 4 months before, had a daughter. Okay. And I think, seeing it and, it being her younger brother, it really, Mindy really wanted to start at that point.
Okay.
The situation was not ideal, but we thought we were moving towards, an ideal situation.
And she was getting older, and you were getting older.
Yeah, exactly. She was slightly older than I was, so we went to the hospital. Learned that we had lost the baby. And contacted Jim, and he said, don't share that. Don't share what happened at the hospital. Just say everything's fine. 3 weeks later, Frank asked Mindy if she was pregnant, and she froze and said, she wasn't allowed to talk about it. And he gave her a big hug, and he's like, that's so great. And she was upset. Came to me. We sent a message to Jim, and he said, just let go. Like, yes, like sure. Say you're pregnant. You'll be pregnant soon, and by the time the timing all becomes clear, this will all be settled.
And so how often would you message Jim?
Every day.
Every day. And how did you message him?
An app called Signal.
Okay.
It's an encrypted messaging app that he introduced me to.
Okay. And then, how often do you physically see him?
When we were at Frank and Megan's, we would not see him. But before that, it was probably once a month to once every 2 months.
Okay. And then you see him at Frank and Megan's?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm counting all the hymns when they're talking about Jim.
Yeah, we didn't see him in person for about 1.5 years from when we moved in with them, which he did not want us to do until we were in the hotel in Savannah.
Okay.
The first hotel, we were in 2 hotels there.
Okay. Do you remember the name of the hotels?
They were both La Quintas.
Okay.
We have a dog, or we had a dog. So that the dog is still alive. But
what's the dog's name?
Rusty.
And that was the dog you had yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess the dog was at the house or was in the car with you?
He was at the house.
Okay, because I got pictures sent to me of the dog, so I was making sure.
Okay.
But he was
Is he okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fine, and she said, but y'all had the dog Rusty then, so La Quintas is where you could stay.
Yeah, they have a really, or I don't know if it's I mean, this doesn't matter, but I don't know if it's just these locations or if it's a wider thing, but they're really easy with dogs.
Okay. And he looked like a lab, but he's like a mixed lab?
I mean, I call him a lab mix. Okay. He looks kind of like a Carolina dog, which...
How long have you had him?
I adopted him in 2011 when I lived in Italy.
Okay.
He was...
I noticed 4 weeks old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so back to y'all were in hotels, La Quintas. Back at one time you said that her parents paid, or was it both times they paid?
I think they paid. It was so. I think they paid for both initially. Okay. We were in one for just a couple of days, and then their weekend rates were significantly higher than the other one's weekend rates. Okay. So she moved us there and paid for another couple of days, and then we had. Then we called a couple of friends to ask them to pay while we were figuring stuff out.
Okay.
You know, at this point in time, you know, we had no car. We were. I had recently learned that my driver's license had been canceled by Virginia. Because I guess if you I had set up a mailing address when we were moving in Florida. It was like one of those services that'll scan your mail.
Okay.
And it just seemed like a good idea for us. We weren't exactly sure where we were going to land, and we'd had problems with our mail disappearing to the point where we'd initially got a PO box. But I guess if you change your license address to an out-of-state address, they cancel it. And by the time that letter caught up with me, like I mean, it was years later, and I was.
It took years for the letter to arrive.
So yeah, we were in the La Quinta for. I'm not exactly sure how long. I think. I don't know, a couple weeks.
And that was prior to moving to 60.
Yeah, that's prior. Yeah, we were at one that's kind of set up as a motel. They're not too. They're probably a couple miles apart. One's kind of set up like as a motel, like it all opens, into like exteriors, and then the second one was more of a traditional hotel.
Okay.
I think that might be called Midtown, but I'm not sure. So we met with Jim. We said that we wanted access to our own money. We wanted a vehicle. Mindy. So at this point, Mindy had tested positive again as pregnant. Like we wanted her seeing a doctor of her choice.
And roughly when was that?
This is when we were at the hotel. This was our list of demands, so we didn't want to be depending on him for anything.
What year roughly?
Oh, so this was 2022.
2022.
Yeah.
She's pregnant, and around what month of 22?
Did she get pregnant?
Yeah.
She tested. She tested in May, but she had already been pregnant. We think or I was told she had already been pregnant for a little while.
Okay. Did she know if it was a boy or a girl, or?
We were told it was a girl.
Okay. And where were y'all told that?
After we left the hotel and got to 65th Street, there was a doctor who had come to the house that Mindy found, and he would meet with her, and she told me after one of her appointments that he had said that he had done a test and that it was a girl.
Okay, said he had tested and it was a girl.
Yeah, I'm not sure what type of test it was. He was right back and.
That's like a male doctor's bag?
Yeah, a doctor's bag. And then he would see her in the...
What typical calls a doctor like that?
I don't know. So this was... She said that she wanted to find somebody, and...
Okay, so Mindy found him.
Mindy found him, Mindy contacted him, Mindy dealt with him. It was one of our other things.
I mean, there's like two of the doctor's offices in that area that they...
Yeah. Do you know his name? I don't. Okay. I'm not sure if I ever got it. He talked to me very little.
Okay.
But he would come. She would talk to him.
How often had he came?
It varied. So
I guess how many times would you say he came?
Yeah. Probably, I mean, we were there for 5 months. I guess probably about a dozen times. It wasn't all. So he came. He came more like earlier, and then later on he came. And in between there would be, sometimes it would be like once a month.
And he'd bill that to Medicare or Medicaid, whichever one's which, because I don't know which one either.
That was one of the only conversations I ever had with him. I filled out a form for that and put the number on it.
Okay. Okay, then what happened?
Probably October, mid to late October. Mindy's blood pressure started to get higher. She was very sensitive to medications. She'd been on Synthroid for years and had been told that she had to take the prescription only because there's less difference between the.
I'm sorry, that was for thyroid problems?
Yeah. There's less difference between the doses and the generic. And that she's very like when she increased her dose, like she had to do it very, very slowly. She couldn't do like a normal dose. She had issues with muscle relaxants and beta blockers.
The judge is like, you guys buy
it. Muscle relaxers and beta blockers?
Yeah. She had what appeared to be allergic reactions to both.
So with the muscle relaxers, what were they for?
We've been in a bad car accident in October 2017. We were rear-ended at kind of high speed. And I saw the car coming up behind us and braced a little. She was in the passenger seat and nodded and kind of like twisted her. And
so she got some back problems.
Yeah. She got injections like into her disc.
Then what happened? And we're back with the blood pressure.
Yeah. So the doctor told her that she should be on bed rest. That she should not be interacting with her parents. There had been a couple of
stay away from your parents.
A couple of real arguments there. One was that we had considered moving to Atlanta because we thought her youngest brother, was going to be going to school there in the fall.
Okay. And they got upset over that?
No, we found it, and this had been, we'd been given like I think we'd been given like a hat for the school. He was Kennesaw State, and then we found out in late August that he'd actually failed all his classes and had lost his offer there. And we had been kind of thinking that was where we were gonna head.
Okay, but back to the no interaction with the parents. That he said they had a couple of arguments with you.
Yeah, that was one of them. And the other one was over them regularly seeing Frank and Megan. She was very upset about that. She felt that Frank had put us in a horrible position and had kind of betrayed us.
How did you feel about it?
I was extremely upset with Frank.
And she was upset too.
She was upset too. I think she was more upset. I kind of understood their situation. Like, at that point, Harper was their only grandchild, and did they not want to have a relationship with their grandchild? Like I don't know. I'm not a parent, but I can imagine this type of situation is pretty hard.
Okay. And then what happened?
Placed on bed rest. She's been placed on she's been placed on bed rest. I was having to check her blood pressure every night. I was given a little like digital sleeve that did it. It was kind of nice. And then she would report that.
Timmy said that y'all were in a 2-bedroom.
Yeah.
And she was not supposed to see her parents. How did that work out? Was she allowed to get there between, or how did that?
Not really well. Like, I mean, she would basically, there were kind of 2 living areas. Our bedrooms, were directly across from each other.
Okay.
With the only shared bathroom with a shower in between.
Okay.
So she would like send me messages like, hey, are they sitting kind of, so it was like an L-shaped house, so I would sit here kind of by the bedrooms and work, and there you had like this living area, a dining area, the kitchen, and then it would jut towards the back, and there was like another living area.
So she kind of used you as her eyes.
Yeah, she'd be like, hey, like, are they sitting, are they either in their bedroom or like sitting back there? And
was it a big house?
No, sir.
So I made it difficult, didn't it?
It was not great.
And you said y'all were there for 5 months, roughly?
Roughly, yeah. We were discussing our options, with Jim, with them. They wanted to stay in the area. We wanted badly to leave the area. He said he would help find a suitable place for them until we got settled, and then we could potentially buy them something if that's what we decided to do. he said he wanted to get us to, we talked for some time about changing our names. He said that his plan was to have us go to Missouri for a brief time, change our names there with the court, and then to settle in kind of a rural area,
And this was Jim you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Near enough, medical so that we could do all the baby stuff, but far enough that we would just kind of be, he said that he would tell us, to cut contact with people, to not tell them.
And at this point, he's really not giving you anything.
Yes, at this point, yeah.
So no money at all.
Right.
Okay. And that's Gino.
Yeah. Around Thanksgiving, the week of Thanksgiving, Mindy had been trying a couple of new blood pressure medicines, and they were not working. She would like try one for a week and then see if there was change, and her doctor came. They talked for a while, and she said that she told me that she had explained our situation. I'm sorry. Can I back up?
Yeah.
In October, I think it was September 30th. Wayne showed up at the house.
Okay.
That's your father?
Yeah.
Okay.
He showed up with his brother. I was shut. It was kind of first thing in the morning. I was.
What's his brother's name?
Chester. He goes by Chet.
Chester Chet. Okay. And what's his last name?
Kassotis, yeah.
What were they driving?
They were driving a white SUV, a Subaru rental. It was the day that a hurricane was supposed to hit Savannah, but it ended up taking a bit north.
It's Hurricane Matthew.
They were like to hide from him?
What?
We like to hide from him?
Yeah. So I was kind of coming out of the bathroom. I had coffee, and I saw there were shades in the front of the house. I saw somebody there, and I just assumed it was the house's owner coming to see if there had been storm damage.
So you saw him through the shades?
Yeah, I didn't realize who it was. Opened the door and was terrified. They asked to come in. I said absolutely not. I asked how they found me. Wayne said that he had hired somebody and it wasn't that hard. He said he wanted me to come with him somewhere to talk. There was the house next door was under construction, and there were workers there, and they started making a racket, and he and I, it distracted him, and I shut the door. I wanted to leave immediately.
And explain to me, why are you deathly afraid of him?
I thought the last time I'd seen you'd taken a baseball bat.
Exactly. From the baseball thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I used to, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I'm just trying
to... No. you know,
Had he ever hit you prior to that?
No.
Okay. What was his reason then, you think, for hitting you or attacking you?
I don't know. Things had gotten very bad with the family, and I never quite understood it. It started with my brother Chris. You know, kind of this, you know, this very antagonistic relationship, antagonistic attitude towards Mindy. And when I tried to like set some just very basic boundaries, like, hey, you know, I'm not going to talk to Chris, you know, and you know, I want you to respect our relationship. That was when things kind of jumped off. I mean, even when we were living with Frank and Megan, I think everybody in that house got calls or texts or emails from him trying to figure out where I was.
Okay.
This is his dad that's trying to fight it, Wayne.
So after that, did they leave or?
Yeah, so he left. I went out the back of the as is kind of, I guess, something that happens in Savannah. You have these almost alleys behind each street. So I went out the back door. You know, we locked the doors. You know, Mindy had her phone. I went out the back door and walked around the corner to where there was 2 blocks up. There's a hospital where there was normally security sitting in the parking lot, and Jim picked me up from there. You know, we got it. He said he didn't think we should be moving right away. Thought it was a bad time.
So Jim lives in Savannah?
I don't know where Jim lives.
But I mean, he just showed up right then.
Yeah. He appeared to be in the area.
Okay.
It was not a long time. He brought me to a Target so that I could buy like a little video camera, like one of those security cameras. He said, you know, this will make you feel safer. Like they're going to be leaving the area, I think. Told me to contact the Savannah Police Department, file a report so that if he showed up at Mindy's mother's place of business, that she could both tell like the front desk, like, hey, this person shouldn't be allowed in, and like, please call the police. Like, you can reference this report.
Okay.
Which I did.
Okay.
So I made a report with the Savannah Police Department at that time.
I'm guessing there's no report with the
Savannah
Police Department.
Okay. Now, Thanksgiving week. I think it was the day after Thanksgiving. I believe it was that Friday. Her blood pressure had been really bad, and she said she'd had a long conversation with the doctor about the fact that, like, we felt like we'd been, stalked for years. We were very worried. I wanted her to go to the emergency room. She had at this point, I think, 3 pretty bad emergency room visits in a row. She had one way back in early 2017. She had hurt her back, and we went to the ER at Fort Belvoir, and the doctor treated her like she was there, like drug seeking, basically. And she was in horrible pain. So 4 bad ER visits, and that summer, July 2017, she had she had an abscess in her mouth that was in a lot of pain, and we went to an emergency room that was basically like go see a dentist. And she's like, I just want antibiotics until the dentist opens. I don't want pain medicine. I just want antibiotics. I'm worried about this infection in my head. We had been to a hospital in Beaufort, the emergency room, when she had COVID in late 2020, and did not feel like the care was good. And then going thinking she was pregnant and being told that she'd actually lost a baby. She did not want to go to the emergency room. So she talked to this doctor. She said that he was aware of the situation, that he worked at kind of like a birthing center, he was affiliated, there were doctors there who had admitting privileges, but she thought she'd be more comfortable there, and that we would and she said that we would get her blood pressure under control, and then we would be ready to leave. But I was in the process of looking at some apartments for her parents. So he said that he was going to pick her up at some point in the next few days, so that I wasn't driving my car there.
I didn't understand. Why would you not drive your car there?
Because we were still very worried about being met by Wayne.
And that was the doctor saying he would come by.
Yes, yeah. So I went to look at an apartment. We knew that Mindy's dad had hip replacement surgery coming up, so we were trying to find a place with minimal stairs, or at least some option to avoid the stairs. So I went out. I think this was now. This is either Friday or Saturday of that week.
Okay.
I went out and I met with one person in Savannah. It would not have worked for him. I then drove out to Hilton Head, and she told me that she had fallen twice, and that she was having some bleeding. She had kind of breakthrough bleeding at points. She said that the doctor told her this was completely normal. 20% of women will have some level of bleeding throughout their pregnancy.
Okay.
So I was in Hilton Head. She said, I said I was worried, and I was going to come right back. She said that the doctor was on the way, and would be back shortly. That she would be there shortly, and that she would let me know. She sent me a message that she had been checked in, that they were going to figure out over the next couple of days how long she was going to be there. And
she said she got checked in?
Yeah.
And this was the week roughly of Thanksgiving?
Yeah, this was either Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I went back to the house, and she wasn't there, and let Jim know that she was, going to this birthing center with this doctor that she had been working with, and he told me so Frank and Betsy were not there. They had gone to Hilton Head for the holiday. Matthew works at a kind of Cajun restaurant down there called Kenny B's. They like fried turkeys or something. So he can make extra money if he's there for that. So they were down there together. Jim told me when they came back that he'd prefer, while we were figuring out what was going on, not to tell them that she was in the house. That he didn't want them saying something. He was uncomfortable with the setup of her being elsewhere when we had issues just shortly before. I talked to her. I knew we were texting. We texted on and off Sunday. She seemed.
What do you recall what her number was?
I don't recall her number.
Do you call your number?
No. We switched numbers a lot.
So it was on the Signal app?
Yeah, it was on the Signal app.
Okay.
No, we switched numbers a lot throughout this time, just because we were, if I had one too long, I would start getting texts on it saying, that I found your new number, I'm going to kill you. That I assumed that I assumed were from Wayne.
Okay.
And they came back Sunday afternoon. Monday or Tuesday, I woke up to a message saying that that she had talked to them and they felt like she was going to be there at least an extra couple of days, and that we should be prepared to depart the area as soon as she was released. I was asked to, maybe this was Sunday. First, Sunday I was asked to get all our stuff in order, to pack everything up, which was no small task. We had a bunch of stuff.
Who asked you that?
She did. So she said hey, can you get things packed up just so we have it ready to go.
Okay.
So I went.
So what did that include?
I mean, it included, we had taken some personal effects with us when we initially left Alexandria that were, things that were important to us, but all our clothes, books, electronics, all toiletries. She had a lot of makeup.
So you had U-Haul for it.
Yeah, no. So I figured that at this point I had a Ford Explorer that I had gotten while we were there. I got my Georgia driver's license. I had purchased a new Ford Explorer. And with it had a third row seat that you could knock down and create a decent amount of packing space. So I started repacking all of our stuff that had been unpacked for months.
So when did you get the Explorer?
July or August. Okay. Late July, early August.
Yeah, I think now might be an appropriate time.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go ahead and break for lunch. It's 12:30. I'm going to ask you to be back here no later than 1:45. So you've got about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay, we're going to get an hour lunch out of that. This is wild. The stories are growing. Gym counter's up to 44. I've only now just a little bit ago started counting the he or him references to Jim, not the doctor, because there's a he or him doctor that's making recommendations about not seeing your family as well. Just trying to filter out just the Jims, and it's exploded. I told you it would. You have to hold out for it, but it's going to be a thing in this in this case. Northwest, our next case is Adelson.
Jury's out. We'll recess for lunch.
Before we go to lunch, before we go to lunch, what's going on? Come on. We don't know what's happening.
Okay. We're in recess. Thank you.
Whatever it was, it's accurate. So there we go. Mom and Dad look at each other there behind the defendant, who smiles at them and says, "Hey, how'd you like my story?" Yeah, the story included why he had to lie to everyone, including his mom and dad. Why he said that they were not his mom and dad, and he had real mom and dad somewhere else. Took a paternity or a DNA test. Man, the tests he's taken. He describes them like they're like a COVID swab. I think that's his only experience with the COVID swab, and he probably has no experience with the pregnancy test, because apparently you can test for just everything, including gender. You know, as soon as you find out you're pregnant, hey, let's find out. Let's do another test. Let's do the one that says if it's pink or green or pink or blue. Let's do that test. Oh, it's pink. It's a girl. Yeah, has no clue. Has done no research on that topic whatsoever. He has lost me. Vidi, sorry. Just realize if you hear him talking, he's lying, and just let it just go in one ear and out the other, because that's all it's worth. So many lies on this. We've got a few people we need to mention here really quickly. Cass, you're the latest. Let's see. Cass, welcome. Wildest trial since Daryl Brooks. Thanks for being a fantastic host. Cass, thank you. 22 months. OG. Thank you very much. Kelly H says, move it, Greeners. Thanks for the super chat. Kim R says, this might be as close as we get to him testifying. Can you imagine if he actually does take the stand on this one? It's gonna be wild. Kim also gave us a super sticker. Thank you very much. Yeah, it doesn't take much thinking to figure out that this is just a crazy story. Kelly H gifted a membership. Thank you. Apple Treasure. Did Nicholas make up the info about having bio parents and parents who raised him? No, that was Jim. Remember? It was Jim. I can't wink, but it was Jim that made that up and told him he had to do this. Let's see. I'm getting some good information anonymously that we're going to hopefully be able to share with you here in a minute. I just have to get the hard data, but it might give a little bit of insight to this story. So hopefully after lunch we'll be able to piece that together. I'll stick Amber on it. Shelly Kelly, what if Jim McIntyre is Rusty's alias? Aha, the dog did it. Get yourself some new bulbs. Thank you, Greeners. I do think your gift is a little overly generous and a little forward, considering we've never met. Just Girl Baking, member for 20 months. Oh, gee. Oof, this is a wild one. Hey, chat. Mrs. Squirrel, welcome to the gallery. Look at that second month, that new courthouse changing colors. It's wonderful. Greeners, member for 27 months. Says, I bought your book. Hit me up. Thank you. Love the humor. Stacy, member for 5 months. It seems like we've known each other forever. Stacy says, yeah, well, 5 months. It's definitely been longer though. Mama A has a hearing today. Yes, the Adelson case. We're going to be following that one next. It was just a hearing this morning. We're going to go on. Gracefully Broken Mom. Been there a lot longer than 7 months. Love being here when I can. Thank you. Love that you're here. It's not the same when you're not. Let's see. Renee says, I can't see your last name, so I say Valzo Williams. Is that close? Valzo Williams. Thanks for all you do. Thank you very much. Jakai, member for 5 months. Bernice Conklin, member for 4 months, says, hi, Scott. Hope all is well with you and the family. Thanks for everything you do for us. It's so appreciated. Thank you for the kind words, Bernice. That is very generous. Sandy gifted 5 memberships. Weather Watch checked in from 35,000 feet, flying across the country, and everything's going well as long as you don't count keeping your wallet with you as one of the criteria. Lee, member for 30 months, says, where's the time gone? Lee's one of our great court watchers as well. OG Boy Mama times 3 says, a whole year. Thank you, RA, for the coverage of these cases and always breaking them down. This one is as broken as they get. So we'll have to cover that a little bit. Hector's mom, welcome to the gallery. Kelly H. with a super sticker. Kim R. with a super sticker. Kelly H. gifted a membership to start everything off. And then, of course, we also have Dallas-born Boston Bred, who hit the 30-month mark as well. OG. Greetings from Vegas. Thanks, R.A. Enjoy Vegas. We won't ask you what happens there. TTU Gator, member for 14 months, says, thanks, R.A. Love your work in this community. Crazy trial for sure. More lies to come. Yes, I think we've broken it pretty much in half. I think we've got half the story. More Jim to come, for sure. So, I caught up. I caught up on everything. We are going to take a lunch break and come back in about 1 hour. Katrina Brunny has counted 43 brand name mentions thus far, and we're at 44 for the counter for the Jim mentions. So Jim is winning. Brands need to make a comeback. A couple things I've noticed. The defendant does not mention his deceased wife's name at all. She and her. He cannot say her name. He's distancing himself from her. He is turtling. He's shrinking down in his chair. At some point, his glasses were like the only thing peeking over the monitor that's in front of him. His eyes are all over the place like a scared rabbit or a deer in the headlights. Well, that's a bad example. More like scared rabbit. The body language is absolutely telling. It's telling here. And his poor parents sitting behind him hearing these stories recounted are just... wow. They blows my mind. Yes, go Dr. R.A. analyzing the body language. I've learned a little bit from Dr. G. He said it one time, and then it's she, her, she, her, she, her, she, her. That's it. It was just enough to identify her, and that was it. And every time thereafter, he mentions Rusty. He mentions Jim a ton, even though he gets a lot of hymns as well. Mentions Wayne. He mentions Frank. You're hearing all sorts of names, but not his wife. Those are just... So, do we know a motive? We know a motive for why he burned the car. It was to get rid of the story about the $800,000 cashier's check that was in it. Wow. Anyway. You think he's the same guy as Nick Morfox? I believe he is, Kevin. I believe the Nick Morfox author bio on Amazon is actually him. Francis Fitzgerald says, hit the like button, show RA the love. Thank you. We've got 785 of you who have. We like it when there's 1,000, but 785 is close enough. I will build a portal for the afternoon session. We know when we are coming back, so we'll do that right now if I can get the buttons to work. All right. Schedule a stream. Reuse settings. We're going to be... Oh, not that one. Try this again. While I'm doing that, I will say tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love, smile at someone, make their day just a little bit better, and please stay safe. Do go live again this afternoon, approximately 1:30. That's it. Day 4, part 2. Yeah, 1:30. Bingo. That'll give us 15 minutes to talk about some of the crazy that's happened and we've thought about over lunch. They come back at 1:45. We'll give us a few minutes to get everything done. All right. With that said, grab yourself some lunch. You might want to get yourself some popcorn. Honestly, it's been a wild one. Buckle up. We're not done. More to come after lunch. You guys be good to each other and stay safe. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye-bye. Portal incoming.
Because he's the guy.